Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Talking Trek is live from Tampa, Florida. How are you guys? What's going on? Holy smokes, here we are with a huge party. Lots and lots of fun. And some secret surprises, some special guests, some amazing drinks, and all of you. Welcome in to the show. Appreciate you guys all being here. Am I recovering from the wax? Yeah. You know, we don't talk about Bruno. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Listen, I need to know who's hanging out in the Talking Trek server sound off. You guys go ahead and hit it up. Let's see what we've got over in Discord chat. We'll check Twitch chat, YouTube chat. What is going on, everybody? Raj kicking us off on server 9. Juby on server 61. Thank you very much. Quazel on 125. Stradalorian on 9. What's going on? Noon Whistle 29. Tarpy on the lovely server 70. Kirko on 57. Albus on 156. What's going on? Welcome in, everybody. Listen, you guys are falling behind. You're falling behind. Let's pick up this Talking Trek server sound off. Alabama on server 17. Lost in on server 45. J-Babes on 13. Thank you, Bender the robot, the country king himself, redeeming and having just his chaos fun last night in Studio G. Thank you. What's going on? Appreciate that on server 51. Don Zeno on 136. Meshcan on 139. Silver Tab on 33. Vahalan King on 118. Shadow Sheep on 133. Divine Floyd Divino on 21. Mac Barcelona on European 1. 38 Madrox on server 8. Convoluted on server 10. Kellum on 700. Atsuma on European 157. Trek Diva on 86. EU 140 comes Kingles. There's Mord on 187. Harry Beggar on European 162. Irwin on 133. Tevimos on 20. Royal Power on 36. Candid Onion on 41. Wharf on 137. MJ on 36. Flopper. I like that name. Flopper. Hey, Flopper on server 70. McRack on 45. Striker on 49. Thank you, Blaze 31. Scarlet Hawk on 187. Jakers Gray on 172. I'm a Junior on 74. Space Walker on 118. And the list goes on and on and on. Welcome in, everybody. Appreciate you guys all being here. What's up? What's up? What's up? We are live.
Sunday, everybody.
Live from Tampa, Florida, here underneath the beautiful pergola. We are actually perched under the pergola right now.
We are indeed. It is very hot.
It is quite warm. What actually is the temperature right now?
94 degrees.
94. It is 94
Lots of humidity.
Lots of humidity. Matter of fact, before the end of the show, it's very possible that I might ruin another microphone by just going and then jumping in this beautifully amazing pool that you've got set up here. Or you
can enjoy a nice sip of your Ghost Energy and cool down that way.
Absolutely. I think I might do that. As a matter of fact, right now, today, my drink of choice is I drip on my electronics. The condensation. A can is sweating.
That happens,
iced tea lemonade. Listen, this is the one I'm going after because Griffin couldn't handle it the other day.
I've got a nice sour watermelon. I like everything about it. It's sour. It's watermelon.
This is the one that almost kicked you out, right? It's just got a nice little punch to it.
It should come with a choking hazard. Yeah. Oh, delicious. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah, that is good. With 200 milligrams of caffeine from coffee beans, 1,000 milligrams of carnitine for legendary energy, epic focus, and none of the crash with no sugar, no calories, no dyes. It's just a completely nice, healthy shot of energy for you. You guys be sure to check that out and support the show by using !GHOST. !GHOST in the chat. Appreciate it so very, very much. Thank you guys for all being here. And we've got a lot of stuff going on today. Very, very special guests that we've got. And then, of course, we're going to be taking the call-ins. Let's very quickly check and see what's going on over here in the panel. We've got Tarpy on the stage. What you doing, Tarpy?
Hey,
oh, wrong button.
She's muted again.
Yeah, I got it. There's Tarpy.
Muted again?
Yeah, well,
Hi.
Different board, different setup.
It's the same board.
It's
excuses.
It's a different color.
It's the same. It is a different color.
It's a different color, and the buttons are in a different.
You can't find the buttons.
The buttons are in the same exact place.
The buttons are not in the same place as they are in my home studio because I didn't bring my micro SD card to import my settings, so I had to make them all up. And there might be some buttons missing.
Raj, I'm not green because I'm in my hometown. I don't have to be green. I can't get in trouble here. I just kick everyone out if I'm in trouble.
That is absolutely true. That could be a thing. Listen, for those of you in the live Twitch audience, if you happen to not have a sub at this point, not exactly sure how that could possibly happen, but we are going to, just because of the nature of how we did our show a little bit differently today, we've got some ads kicking up over there, so we're going to go ahead and get that going. It's just DJ breaking things, as always. Absolutely. I know, impossible. Absolutely crazy. And Venadia, by the way, let me just go ahead and point this out to you. And Venadia, thank you so very, very much for your 195. Wow. 195 stream streak. That is absolutely wild. Thank you so very, very much for that. That is just ridiculous and insane. Thank you so very, very much. That is absolutely just wild.
That's not ridiculous or insane. That is the expectation.
It's dedication,
and only
man.
one person has met that expectation. The rest of you are below the bar.
And Venadia absolutely kicking it up right there. Sea Engineering, thank you for your hydrate. You ready for another sip there? Got the hydrates going on. Yep.
I mean, this goes very fast. Oh yeah. You see the iced tea. He literally glugs it down. That can has gone in 3 shots.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Is it a new top 5 for you? Easily.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it a new
love this
1?
flavor. Iced tea lemonade. Oh, I don't know about number 1. Strawbango still lives near and dear to my heart. I love that. Guys, I will
point out that he's had 0 straw mango since he's been here and 5 of the iced tea lemonades.
I don't know if it's been 5. It's been a lot. Okay. That is fair. Listen.
There's so much caffeine.
Lots of caffeine.
But it's natural
and
caffeine, no sugar without the crash.
Yeah, that's right. There's no sugar, and it's fine. It's the clean caffeine. It's the clean caffeine. Can I say very quick welcome and thank you to our European audience today. What's going on, Europeans? How are you? Appreciate you guys all being here.
And you're welcome. I did get him out of bed early to start a stream early at 10 o'clock so you could enjoy it while the sunlight is still up for the first time in your life.
Yeah, there you go. So hello, European servers out there. How are you? Lost in, dropping 5 gifted. Thank you very much. Mortman for the sub. Den, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Soar with the 35-month resub. Thank you.
Ooh, wow.
Ooh, oh, boy, that...
See, that's what you get for lugging the lemonade.
That was a sound.
Oh, my goodness gracious. That was almost dangerous.
Why listen to the chemist and what she has to say?
Cronox, thank you for your 100 kitty bitties. Welcome in from the European servers. Guys, we've got a lot to get to today. We've got some guests. We've got some stories to tell. So I want to jump right in. We've got a hard out.
It's the last day of the arc.
It is the last day of the arc. So we've got some reviews to make. All right. We've got some reviews to make. We've got some comments to issue. We've got all kinds of stuff to go in. That's right. DJs after dark, but in the daylight. It's all it.
It's mass hysteria.
Mac Barcelona says we are absolutely melting in Spain right now. I can believe that, man. I'm melting here. I'm melting here.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
What temperature is it there right now?
94.
So hot.
In the shade.
It is hotter here.
Well,
we have the humidity.
Humidity, okay? I'm
in Minnesota.
I'm sticky gross.
And it's the same humidity.
And
it's
as you can see, everything here
humidity
is at the pergola is white and tan and hence reflective.
Yeah. It's a heat wave. Listen, let me tell you something about last night. So last night, Studio G. Studio G, live from Casa de la Griffin. Hence the Studio G for those of you who don't really understand
or
why
does
we
stand for
renamed
green?
it.
We don't know.
It could be. So last night, Studio G kicked up live from the Pergola, which was an absolutely phenomenal show.
It was a blast. We had special lighting. We had cool things going on. We played darts. I won.
No, you didn't. I crushed him at darts.
I definitely also won the cannonball contest in the pool.
He did win the cannonball contest.
Which is surprising considering the volume. I was in it. I was the underdog. And somehow I still got a bigger splash than you.
Feel like he's calling me chubby. Feel like that's what's happening. Stoffel, thank you for your 8-month sub. 7 of 7. Thank you. 7 of 7. Thank you for your 100 kitty bitties. Appreciate that. Jeef Boo with the 29-month resub. Thank you so very much. So Studio G. Absolutely phenomenal time. We're going to get that uploaded on Patreon along with some special features, I might add.
Oh, this is the first time ever you did something.
The first time ever that we recorded. See, Madrox and Ice Wolf have been asking for this for a while. We already publish the audio with that's just a duplicate of the entire show. So you hear us talking, you hear us goofing around, and sometimes
sneezing, scratching your butt. I think you can hear that.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff you can hear. Then you see the video, which is the whole thing as well. There's been a request for just the set list, like just the music. Yeah, like you would put on, and that way you can work out to it, or you can listen to it when you're walking a dog, or I think a lot of people would listen to that like when they're in the gym or something like that.
But if you're not one of those people, like, why would I do that? Why not just listen to Spotify? I mean, it's just a DJ, just pushing buttons. I have the opportunity and the rare privilege of watching UltimatDJz work live in person with my own eyeballs for the very first time. Let me just tell you, he is the last man standing. He does it the real way, the old-fashioned way. There's no computers. There's no digital beats matcher-uppers. There's no pitch thingy globbers.
A lot of people don't believe that.
He is literally doing the math in his head. He is timing. He's tapping his finger to the beat, and he is hitting that button at the right time.
I can identify 120 beats per minute.
This is a legit, bona fide, professional, certified, old-school DJ.
Thank you,
that
man.
is somebody that you want to listen to. Trust me.
It's very, very kind. I appreciate that. Thank you. 7-7 of 7-7 dropping 10 gifted into the chat. Thank you very much. You guys kicking up a hype train already. Looking at that. Thank you guys so very much. Yeah, hype train live from Tampa. So the mix. This is the first time we were ever going to do it, and actually, I feel a little self-conscious about it. If I'm being straight up, because
why is that?
We were having so much fun last night.
No. What he means is I was clearly, and I know better because I interned at a radio station for 2 years. I know when to talk to and when not to talk to a board op. I was absolutely harassing him when he was trying to get his beats right. He didn't even give me a dirty look once. I was waiting for it.
No, because we were having fun. We were having a great time. I mean, seriously, that was an incredible show last night, man. Everything that has happened here in Tampa has been absolutely phenomenal. And I just want to take a quick second publicly while we're on this topic right now, just to say thank you to you and your beautiful family.
Oh, thank you
for welcoming me into your beautiful home.
Thank you.
It has been absolutely nothing short of breathtaking. I described it yesterday as like I feel like I'm literally in a resort.
And you can now certify that the cooler of ghost energy is in fact real.
It's real. All right, I mean, it's not just the cooler. You've actually installed additional shelving.
Well, I have a top stock. I mean, any respectable, you got to be able to restock the shelves. When somebody comes over and swigs all your iced tea lemonade, you got to have the back stock to replenish.
So it's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, thank you for being here.
Beautiful.
Our
thank
pleasure.
you so much. I'm actually very much looking forward to returning again. Maybe just at a point where like we don't work, like just hang out, like cook some food, swim, play some more darts, and let you lose, and just have some fun. Man.
Alexander would love that. Number one, I heard what you said there. Then the lie in that statement nestled in about losing at something, but yeah,
there's video evidence, by the way.
We've got it's not posted far as I know. You're embarrassed of the set and you haven't put it up yet.
I haven't put it up
yet. 2
yet.
mistakes in 5 hours.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, Lawson says I would totally listen to a clean set list. That's just it. Last night we were having so much fun, and that was the point that I was kind of making. I'm almost embarrassed about putting it up. I think the thing that might make it okay is that it was the first time we did it, so there might be a bug or two. But that means all the mistakes are exposed.
And
there's
the
no
context, like we're having a conversation.
Yeah,
like,
there's no microphone to cover it up.
An LP mixer in it, and you're like, yeah, what?
Yeah, there's absolutely no context. There's no description. There's no ability to use the mic to cover up an error. You hear it all. So that's why I was talking to Madrox about it. I'm not sure if I want to put it up.
You should put it up. We all are in favor of you putting it up.
Well, it's so full of mistakes, man.
You're still better than 98% of the people on Twitch doing that.
Well, I appreciate that very much. I probably will, but you guys give me some grace, being that it was the first one, and we were doing a ton of stuff. There was so much.
We're putting up, we're tearing down, we're moving here from there. But yeah, man, I'm really happy you're here. Thank you for an enjoyable weekend. Can't wait to have you back.
Been great.
Special thank you to my beautiful girlfriend Alexander for creating this beautiful space. She designed that barbecue back there. She literally drew it up and had somebody come in and build it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we were talking about this when I first got in Friday night, and they were giving me the tour of the home, and she was telling me about all the design aesthetics and everything that she put in here. I mean, she really, like, what she has done here is so beautiful and elegant, yet a little unorthodox, unique. And kind of just like, I mean, it really pops everything out. Like the rounded corners. I keep going back to that. Like there's this one set.
It's a Mediterranean boho vibe.
It's very cool.
You've got the palms. You've got the whole thing. You're lucky that we're even live streaming. We should be upstairs in the theater watching First Contact right now.
We should be. By the way, I have also been to the bunker. Legit. Okay. I don't even know how you get internet signal down there.
Well, it's It's hardwired.
I mean, that is absolutely crazy. Lost in, thank you for another gifted sub. You guys keeping the hype train going.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. Dirk says, I like Star Trek. We love Star Trek. That's why we're here. And we're actually going to be talking about a Star Trek video game here in just a couple of moments. So we appreciate
Dirk
that.
Pitt NCC 1701. I see what you've done there.
Yeah.
You should subscribe to the channel. I promise at some point in the next 13 hours, we will be talking about Star Trek.
Yes, that is absolutely true. We watched from the theater room, we watched the first of the 2-part episode.
The end of season 3 on
End of season 3, going into season 4.
Locutus Borg makes his appearance.
Yeah, well, that wasn't All Good Things. That was the season finale.
What is that
Best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds.
And then we put on some Picard season 3.
And watched Vox, that episode.
Vox.
Oh, my gosh. That theater room. It's absolutely unbelievable. Listen, at this particular stage, without even asking anybody for permission, I am almost ready to just call up a convention, a gathering of sorts, for you guys to visit Resort de la Griffin.
Oh, it would be wonderful.
Yeah.
There's nothing but we
beautiful.
got the blender back there for the margaritas at this beautiful Paradise Squirrels Pergola.
Absolutely.
Lutz, Florida.
Yeah.
You two can have your own backyard paradise.
You could. Yeah. Will there be an open bar? Not for you, or Trash Keeper, or Tarpitude.
What kind of host do you think I am? Of course, there's an open bar if people come over.
Okay, open bar. There you go. You forget what Tarpy can do to an open bar.
I don't forget. Challenge accepted.
You hear that, Tarpy? You're coming next time, all right?
In fact, I would challenge Tarpitude and Trash Keeper to a open bar off.
Bar off.
And see who can do the most damage.
Tarpy. Madrock says, I'm fine with
Tarpy's
BYOB.
drinking now. She can't be bothered to respond to
Yeah,
your
where did Tarpy go? Tarpy's...
Did you mute her again?
No, I didn't. No, she's up. She's the green button. She's muted in Discord. So maybe her headphones. Oh, there you are. She's drinking.
I'm half... yes, always. No, not always. Wait, never mind. I'm making dinner, actually.
What?
We're smoking ribs.
What is
smoking ribs, so it takes like 8 hours.
Time.
That's right.
You too could smoke ribs on the Paradise Girls 33,000 BTU front burner. It has a nice rotisserie option if you want that for your turkey. There's a built-in smoker. You can smoke your ribs if you wanted to.
You can smoke them.
So many options.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of options there.
I'll be right down in like 6 hours.
Yeah, we're right on the way. Quazel, thank you for your 31-month primer. Appreciate that. For those of you who didn't watch the video yesterday of shedding season, we actually did show off the grill.
We did. We were here. I was barbecuing a steak while you were shedding your season.
Yes, I was. It was shedding season. Tarpy, you enjoyed very much the fact that we ended up retaining the same name. You know what? Mainly because there's not another substitute PC acceptable name for waxing your balls.
Hey. Why did you get twice as loud when you said waxing your balls? What am I... Okay, I've got neighbors.
Hi, neighbors.
This is not glass. We're not enclosed here. Okay? That's number one. And number two, what's wrong with all of you people for going, oh, we wanted the proof. How do we know that he actually did it? What do you expect me to put in the edit in order to prove to you that it was actually done? What would you like to see?
Proof.
Show me what you would like to see.
I don't want proof.
No, what? Only interesting people would want proof of shedding season.
There was proof, though. And because we were concerned to put it on YouTube, it's in our Patreon. And by the way, I didn't even put it in Patreon for paid subscribers. Tarpy.
No, it was for everybody.
I put it up there for everybody.
Everybody can see it.
That's right. You just go and become a member.
Well, you can't see it, but you can see the wax strips that were left over at the end.
Yeah.
Lawson says that he wants a sound alert of that sound effect.
Yeah, no, I did not. I do not have sound alerts set up.
We can make that though.
Oh, the rip?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he wanted the Karkin. I just love that because I wanted more balls.
What? At least you whispered it this time.
Let me say that a little louder.
No, let's not.
Listen. If you have not,
Balaban will now be canceling his Patreon.
If you have not signed up for Patreon, and by the way, you don't have. I mean, there are paid memberships over there, but what we did with this one is that it is absolutely free. So just ! Patreon, ? Patreon. If you're in the Discord, join, become a member. There is a free level. Just become a free member, and you'll get access to a lot of our content.
Proof of the fact that waxing season actually was successful.
Shedding season did in fact occur.
That was great. We didn't get kicked out of the grocery store. It's okay.
I'm uncomfortable
that the Brazilian place didn't open like they said they would.
No,
we found a way.
Okay.
See, just like good min-max players, you always find a way. You never give up. You don't turn the game off. You just find a way.
It was not okay.
It was definitely okay.
Did I leave a strip, says Dr. Juby.
He did. He actually left one upside down on my girlfriend's bathroom counter, which I encountered this morning, 10 minutes before she came home from her little morning trip.
Oops.
And
I didn't know it flipped over upside down.
And
I'm
I had
so
to
sorry.
frantically not walk, run to the garage to get the goof off and get that off before she came back home and saw what you did.
I apologize sincerely for leaving hairy wax on your bathroom counter.
I don't know if I'll ever recover from that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is really funny. This is really funny in the chat right here. Take a look at that.
Shinobi-wan says...
Shino.
No, Shinobi-wan.
Shinobi-wan. Yeah, please tell your guest to answer her daughter. Okay, so we'll work on that here.
Oh, wow. That's a first-time chat, too.
That's a first-time chat. That is a wonderful way to get our attention. All right, absolutely. It's a wonderful way to get our attention because we've got the chat pulled up on this huge monitor.
That is on a level of which I have never seen before, Shinobi-wan.
I like that, Shinobi-wan. That is fantastic. Listen, again, just like a min-maxer, always finding a way, all right?
Shinobi-wan should be playing Star Trek Fleet Command.
Absolutely. We're going to find a way to accomplish this task. I need to get a hold of Mom, all right? We're going to figure this out, all right? First-time chatter, and is she subbed? Is she subbed?
Yeah, did you look at the kitty cat?
Hey, look at that. She's subbed. Fantastic. Appreciate that so very much. Thank you for being a sub.
We'll have to find that out.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. What are we doing in Tampa? So I came down as a result
I live here.
Yeah, he lives here. I came down as a result of a stream goal that you guys hit. I had to come down for a Brazilian wax.
A very high stream goal. We don't give that away for free.
Yeah.
We reached a very high level thanks to our wonderful community and family out there.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody had to, you'll be flying home with about 2 ounces less hair on your body. Do you get a discount for that?
I don't know, but speaking of discounts.
Oh, the media pass. I can't believe that worked.
My media pass worked flawlessly.
It did. They actually fell for the ruse. You print a picture of a kitty cat, you put media pass on it, you sign it in crayon with the name UltimatDJz, and somehow that's worth a discount at the airline for your baggage.
You listen. It worked.
How much did you save?
I saved $140.
Can you believe that?
$140.
That's like a hack of the. Where's that? That should be on a blog somewhere for saving money.
Yes,
just make your own media pass.
Well, I mean, you have to be prepared for them to investigate. They didn't in my case.
Like if you check a normal luggage and they open it up and your underwear's in there, then they're probably going to question your media pass. But you did have a hard case with turntables in it, and it looked like you might be official.
I had all the gear in the second bag. I had the cameras and the microphones and all that stuff.
I travel all over the world, and I have like legit pro audio gear. Never once have I even thought to present a media pass.
I'm going to set him up with a media pass while I'm here, okay? Yeah, and so, yeah, no, it totally worked. I went through. There's still, like, categories of weight on my receipt, which I can't show you because it's got my name on it. When I get home, I'll scan it, and I'll blur out my name and be able to show that to you. But they have categories of weight, so it was actually, like, the line item on the receipt was media equipment, up to 70 pounds, and I paid $60 for 2 bags. That was my total, $60, and I had 2 bags. Listen, American Airlines may have its faults, but shout out on the Media Pass program, okay? Yes.
Also, Dr. Juby is proud of you for not doxing yourself.
You're welcome. All right. Yeah, that's right. I don't want to dox myself. That's called growth. Thank you very much, Juby. I had the turntables. I had the microphones. I had the cameras. Did all kinds of stuff. McSurgeon, thank you for the 29-month resub. Appreciate that very much. Dirk says, that is still kind of expensive. Dude, I don't necessarily disagree. I mean, I would have loved for it to be cheaper than $60. But when we went to Miami, earlier this year,
yeah, you got.
I spent more on getting my equipment there, Dirk, than I did on my actual plane ticket.
It's true, he did.
All right.
And I laughed because then after he got there, I already brought all the same stuff in my car.
I know.
And we didn't even use any of the crap.
We didn't use any of my stuff. We duplicate packed. Although
it's good to have when you're on a boat, you want to be redundant.
Yeah,
and so that was
because there was nowhere to get everything.
So Juby, not only did he not dox himself, but he was prepared with backup equipment for a gig earlier this year. So that does show phenomenal growth.
Yeah, see, there you go. So,
Considering that we had a live stream last year where you blew up your power cord and the cord was dead for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I remember that. So now we pack in redundancies. So even this time, I came down here knowing that his home studio was here. Now I didn't bring as much, but I still brought some stuff.
Yeah, the bunker.
So I brought some stuff, and it ended up being great. So again, just you guys made fun of me. I'm just going to point this out. Y'all made fun of me for manufacturing my own
We always do.
media pass.
You make it an easy target. So who's the fault?
What?
The chicken or the egg?
Okay, let me just say, my idea worked. Okay? Who's making fun now?
Even a blind squirrel finds the net occasionally, okay?
Well.
So we're proud of you.
All right, thank you. All right, media pass totally worked.
Yeah, media pass
is great. That's right, Madrox. No wet microphones. Last night I went into the pool not once but twice and didn't ruin any equipment. Okay, didn't ruin any equipment. Yet I might still.
However, I find it ironic that he did decide to bring his own towel to our home.
Well, yeah, it's a cool towel.
And yet he apparently didn't bring a swimsuit because he's swimming around in his underwear out there.
Okay, hold on. Wait.
I mean,
where's the logic
wait.
there? Hold on. So last night, after Studio G is over, I mean, I am, guys, no lie. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and it is still 100 degrees out here. All right, I'm burning up. I'm soaked in sweat.
It was 77 degrees.
It was hotter than that.
The pool was actually warmer than the outdoor temp.
The water was disgustingly warm. It was like swimming in a toilet. All right.
What does that mean? How do you, number one, how do you know the temperature of toilet water?
Well, it was okay. It was like swimming in a kiddie pool.
And
that
number
was full
two,
of pee.
it was beautifully heated with a beautiful gas hot.
He had the heater on in the pool.
Yes, good for your joints.
Anywho, after Studio G is done last night, I do have a swimsuit, but I was already soaking wet.
Could have fooled me because I didn't see it.
I was already literally soaking wet. So at that point, I just didn't even care. He said he was going to, he didn't even swim with me last night. You guys saw him pass out during the middle of Studio G. So
it was 1:30 in the morning.
So at this point now, it's almost 2. Okay, and we get everything packed up and put away like we did. And I said, listen, I have to get in the pool. I'm so hot. He's like, I'm going to bed. I'm like, okay, great. So you sure you don't want to come and swim with me? And he's like, no, I've got to get some sleep.
None of that conversation happened. You said you were going to sleep, and then you just ripped your clothes off until you were in your underwear and said, no, I'm going to jump in the pool. And that was the end of that conversation.
I was going to go to bed, but I thought, I am so disgusting. My body heat is so, like, even a shower wouldn't have done it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever just feel so hot and disgusting that even, like, an ice-cold shower is not quite it. You just got to get in the pool.
I just would have gone full commando at that point. What's even the point of keeping your Cinnamon Toast Crunch underwear on over
Respect.
there?
Respect.
Nah,
okay. So I did. I took off my shirt. I took off my pants. Here I am standing in my teeny weeny polka dot
itsy
bikini,
teeny weeny yellow polka dot. Where's the respect when we're in the cruise ship and we're in the same room together and things are just flopping around all over the place? Again, Juby, growth. There's been growth.
And I just jumped in the pool.
There you go.
All right, I just jumped in the pool. Here I am, like, down to my skivvies, and I was like, I've got to get in the water. Like, seriously, I felt like I was having a
the
stroke.
girls across the lake. There were girls hollering at DJ. They
That's
wanted
right.
to come
Mad
over.
Rocks knows that. He was here last night. I tried. I think they might have been tuned in. And I was kind of like, hey, if you're watching,
they were applauding at all the right times.
All right, that's right. They were hooting and hollering at the right time. So yeah, the girls across the lake,
pond, the alligator-infested swamp.
I will again remind anybody who's tuned in the greater Tampa area. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. All right.
Okay.
So, but no, it was.
This is not Grindr. This is Talking Trek with Star Trek Fleet Command.
It was a fantastic time. So yeah, I just pretty much got like down to my underwear naked and jumped in the pool, and then I couldn't leave. I stayed.
You stayed in there for an hour. You told me.
I stayed in the pool till after 3 o'clock in the morning. As a matter of fact,
you were probably playing Star Trek.
I did.
You were probably doing like Armada.
I was like up to my chin. I had my arms. I was sitting on the bench over there.
I totally understand that. That is very relaxing to do that.
So relaxing, and the water was completely still.
And we
around
had
me.
the
It
nice
was so
ambient lighting
quiet.
on, and we had
Yeah,
the nice
you had
little
the
peaceful
lighting.
retreat sound going on.
Oh God,
Yeah,
it was
good
so great.
stuff.
And I was listening to my girl Thug Shells on Twitch. We raided into Thug Shells last night. She had a killer set. Madrox, did you stay and listen to her last night? Holy smokes, her set was so fire last night. Oh my God, if you guys have not checked out Thug Shells on Twitch, she's an amazing DJ. She was insane last night. She was on fire. So I listened to that on Twitch while I'm grinding my Armadas, while I'm doing my Cons Champions event, because I still have hundreds of millions of points to go in the augment grinding event. So there I was, just sitting in the pool, just no clothes.
Doug in chat
playing
wants
my
to know,
STFC.
why did you leave your inner on if you took so much of the other clothing off? Doug, I suspect it's because he had some wax left over and his underwear had stuck to his crotchal area and he couldn't get that layer of clothes.
Stop using those words. Does anybody else find it just oddly like nails on a chalkboard anytime he says the words crotchal area?
It's a crotchal area.
It's very
God, specific.
No,
I think it's weird.
That's just you.
That's just you.
Really?
It's just you.
Nobody else is
It's
offended by that? Okay. Well, I think it's weird.
You're appalled and offended by that.
You need to stop.
That's what offends you. Okay.
You need to stop thinking about it.
Yeah, it's nails on a chalkboard for me.
Okay.
So anyway, had an absolutely great time. Then 3 o'clock, it might have been even
3
been
in the
like
morning,
3:15. I finally get out of the pool. I didn't want to. As a matter of fact, I had stayed in the pool long enough. I bet you've had this feeling before. There's something magical about this pool. I stayed in the pool long enough that when I got out of the pool, my legs were wobbly.
Oh, sure.
Is that a thing?
It's a little saltwater pool. It has,
I got out and I was like, oh. Like, I had a hard time standing up. I was like, maybe I should just stay out here. I had a hard time standing up. My legs were wobbly when I got out of the pool, and I just slowly shuffled my way, used my very cool Star Trek towel. Like that towel. And shuffled my way into my, I would love to say, like, my guest room, but this was really like a suite, okay? Listen, my room had a mini bar in it.
It does have a mini bar. It has a coffee maker. It has a mini fridge. It has several kinds of teas.
There was teas, coffees, snacks, candies, fruits. All right. There was a bottle of wine in there.
There's a bottle of wine.
There's a bottle of wine in there. Like, there's a whole mini bar.
See, I hate going to people's house and then it's like, I'm thirsty or I'm hungry, but it's 7 in the morning. I don't want to get out there. I don't want to, make a noise and wake people up. That's why, you just have everything in the guest room so people can chill and have what they need and not have to worry about being uncomfortable.
There was a refrigerator in there, and he stocked it full of Coke Zero.
I did indeed. See, that's a real friend.
Aw.
He stocked it full of Coke Zero. There's a mini bar and all this food and wine and drink and coffee and tea, and then he brought in a fridge. No, I don't need Ghost in there when I'm sleeping at night. All right, he brought in a refrigerator and put Coke Zero in it for me. Buddy, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's very nice.
Well, I had to pay you back for all the amazing things you do for me, like, leaving wax space down on the counter 5 minutes before somebody comes home.
Yeah, absolutely. It was absolutely incredible. Yeah, absolutely. This is whaling in the 10th degree.
No meetup this time, but there will be a meetup in the future. We just needed to work the bugs out, like how the DJing works, is that, how do we set it up, or but in the future, we'll definitely have a little...
Yeah, this was the first time for several things. It was the first time Studio B was on the road. It was the first time me ever shipping with the turntables. And as Madrox and I discussed last night, we did actually identify a bug or two that we're going to improve for next time.
Yes, Fisty, he turns me green like a jerk, and this is what he gets back. Nothing but kindness. There are lizards all over here. You can't kill a lizard.
Yeah,
you need them because they get the flies.
Is that one on the wall? No, okay. Yeah, no, they're all over the place. It's kind of crazy. Shadowed Fox, thank you for your hydrate. I'll do that now.
I'm already out.
I'm going to have to refill here in just a moment. Yeah, it's a beautiful place to be, Chronox. This is absolutely incredible.
Well, Tampa's a beautiful town. It's filled with beautiful people, DJs.
Yeah, it's
and we have a few of them with us here today, in fact.
Yeah, we do indeed. All right, so we're going to introduce our live studio guest here in just a moment. Enterprise says, do you mind if I share some exciting news? By all means.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, share your exciting news.
We're waiting to hear it.
I would love to know what your exciting news is. Are you Op 70? Did you go to Op 70? Yo, congratulations on Op 70.
That's awesome.
I don't think that's actually the news.
Well, we'll wait to see.
I'm making it up right now. that might be it. Congratulations.
Your fourth niece was born Friday afternoon. Congratulations.
Now that is epic. Absolutely. The fourth niece born Friday afternoon. Well, that is fantastic. The family is growing and expanding, and hopefully you do your part in making them a new young Star Trek fan. As a matter of fact, our friend Dr. Erin McDonald has a book just for you.
She does.
All right, has a book just for you. You need to find it. Just Google Dr. Erin McDonald's website. She's got her Star Trek ABC's children's book. All right, it needs to be your niece's first book.
Yeah,
all right?
I agree.
And listen, just for the very special occasion, I might actually be able to get you an autographed copy. Now, I'm not saying that I can or I will, but listen, I
might have 3.
Might be able to get you an autographed copy of that book. All right, just saying.
Yeah.
Who in production left that folding table back there? In frame.
Amateurs.
He's very upset right now. By the way, while you guys are looking at the frame, that is the dartboard up there. That's the dartboard that I kicked his ass in yesterday. All right, I did. I whipped him. Okay, you see, he can't handle it. He had to move the table. He runs a professional setup here.
Ridiculous.
Okay? All right.
5 demerits for you.
Sorry. Guys, listen, we've got a lot to get to today. We've got a hard out.
And not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time. We are going to be opening the stage. Tarpy, if I'm not mistaken, again, just amazing, wonderful engineering, amazing production here. We are going to be able to open the stage for your call-ins today as we prepare to rate the arc.
We have a little monitor right here. We can hear what you're saying and everything. We don't have to guess. We can actually hear you.
Yeah, we can hear. So Juby wants to come up. Cruzito wants to come up. We are going to be talking about
the box in the corner, okay? I saw it too, but now I have to get up twice. Madrox.
All right, notice he's moving his shoulder now to cover up the box. All right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I just have a cramp.
So, yes, we do have guests in the studio here as well today from the greater Tampa area. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is our distinct privilege to welcome back our dear friends, Thumbelina and Barebutt Al. What's up, guys? How are you?
Hey, thank you.
You got Squeechin. There we go. Yes, squeech in a little bit there.
Hello, all from Tampa.
There
hello,
you go.
Hello. How are you?
Barebutt Al and Thumbelina are here. There's Tarpy. You guys can hear her?
Yes,
hear?
we hear Tarpy.
All right, very good. Invited them over to have a nice breakfast. They were late.
Look at those delightful Star Trek earrings that you're wearing over there, Thumbelina.
Mrs. Putz may have made them.
I recall that.
Mrs. Putz may have made them.
You predicted this. Griffin's like, listen, you're going to have to literally hold the mic for them the entire time.
Mrs. Putz may have made them. Okay.
Mrs. Potts made these are the same earrings, by the way, that you guys have seen in a Beck Likes Plants video.
Indeed.
Right? Yeah. Those are
what
there.
What happened at Barebutt's chair? Where
this
did you
is the
go?
sinky chair. This is the sinky chair. There's a sinky chair here.
That's never happened to anybody
I
before.
said it yesterday, and it just goes.
Well, I'll just put that on your invoice for when you check out.
I broke the chair.
Is the wine there too?
The wine is still there.
Barebutt can't drink wine.
All right, it was still there.
Just
Oh
bourbon.
no, I meant on the invoice.
Oh yeah.
Like whatever goes in the hotel room is on the invoice.
Absolutely. Yeah. If he moved it, the sensor will pick it up.
Very quickly, while you guys are hanging out here with us a little bit, you guys stopped by the.
It's getting worse. He's shrinking. It's like that episode of where the Doctor in Voyager just gets shorter and shorter. You got a handle on the right.
It'll raise it back up, but then he'll just shrink right back down, bro.
He's melting.
Well, then, poor Barebutt. You got to stand up before you can activate the lever.
Yeah, stand up and then pull up on the lever, and then the chair will come back up. So you're going to have to bend over because it's all the way down on the ground now. All right, there you go. Stand up, pull up on the lever, and then stand up at the same time, and I'll pull the chair up.
This is great. This is live TV, everybody.
Yeah. You got it? No. Okay.
There it is.
There you go. There we go. Okay, now we're going to sit in it, and it's going to shrink and go back down.
He's back in the game.
And it's going to go.
Thumbelina probably touched it when she tried to scoot in. It's because you have all this room over here. You're the room hog.
I am center. I have the I am.
Yes, we all know the world spins around you. We understand.
I have to control the production. Okay.
What was that? There's no bug in
There
here.
was a bug.
We're in a cage. Okay. This is
All
what
right.
you get for doing a show with a cat.
He's seeing things.
Anywho, listen. What are you guys sipping on over here?
I'm doing the iced tea lemonade.
Oh, Ghost. You got Ghost.
Ghost cherry limeade, my favorite flavor.
Oh,
All right.
that's delightful.
Courtesy of the cave. the cave cooler. All right.
He's not lying. It's a real cooler like would be in a store.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's deep, it's wide, it's tall.
Well, the whole point
And
of
it's
it,
fully stocked.
the whole point is to make sure that you have any beverage that any UPS driver or FedEx driver or mailman carrier would want.
There you go.
That way, you always get your packages first. As long as-
It's brilliant, actually. It's absolutely brilliant. All right. He's paying shipping 3 times. All right. By the time he stocks that thing, and then,
But
he's paying double.
I'm also improving the quality of someone's day.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I wish I had my all button, but I don't because I'm missing some of myself. Oh, everybody, 1, 2, 3. Oh, thank you. All right, guys, appreciate you guys all being here. What do you say we jump into the game here just a little bit? We've got some stuff to talk about here today. As a matter of fact, there's been a few new developments here just over the last couple of days. Tarpy, I know I have not been super available on chat, but I've seen you and Putz and Wolfwood kind of handling the masses.
Oh, well, first of all, I want to say you're welcome to all of you out there because
true.
thanks to my rant and tirade and pantomime and drama and crying and fit clearly that I threw on our last podcast live stream on Thursday, not coincidentally, I'm sure, immediately the next day we log into the game, all of a sudden there's all these command badges that you can earn with your event store currency. Just random command badges just immediately appear in the game after I show everybody what a disaster it is not to have that option. So you're welcome.
Sometimes Scopely surprises me. Sometimes they surprise me in the other direction. They surprise me sometimes with
Angry Griffin gets results. That's exactly right.
There you go.
And the thing is that they
That's
always
terrifying.
watch. Good or bad, they're always watching.
Yeah, that is true. And they are here today. We've actually gotten a couple of messages there in our live studio audience today. So thank you guys very much for being here. I am surprised sometimes at some of the things that they action on, some of the things that they don't action on.
No, Mike, there's still no back button for the missions, okay? And you know that there's not. You still have to just bring it up. Just bring it up. There's still no back button.
Santa Scopely over here in Dominus. You're exactly right. So now let's be clear about where this is and what loot it's costing, because Griffin blindly clicked on this and he may have cost himself ever so slightly, Tarpy. This is showing up in the Cons Champions meta event store, okay? Not your broad event store. Now, Tarpy, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't spent a ton of time in the game, because we do have a little bit of confusion. Even myself have been slightly confused, because you've got the Cons event store, but then you also have the Cons Champions event store that are using different tokens. So you guys got to be very, very careful. As a matter of fact, where the badges are is essentially part 2. This is the part 2 that they didn't want to commit to, Tarpy, last month. This was the part 2 where people said, can I get the other half of a skin? Well, can I get the rest of the Godsend? Or can I get the rest of Papa Echo? Or Echo Papa, whatever it was. And Scopely said, well, we're not going to publicly say that it's coming again. We may change it. But if you want the stuff, then you got to buy it now. All right? They did not want to commit to a second one. They did say that it was very possible, Tarpy. They said that it's possible it will show up again, but we're not committing to it in its current form. The reason that I'm glad that it's back, because players are going to have the choice. And from what we can tell, Tarpy, it's following structurally the exact same mechanics. In other words, you got to complete all the SMSs with a buffer of 2. Okay?
Yep.
You've got a buffer of 2.
So right there, there, their news in game is actually wrong.
Shocking.
I think for what they say for that. So they
typo.
So yeah, typo. So
typo.
they have they say 22 SMSs. There are 10 days with 2 SMSs per day. And I think that whoever was counting it counted the SLBs as part of the meta.
Oh, that's the problem.
So they just looked at it and counted the wrong stuff. So I just want people to be aware that it's actually 20 total SMSs on the event schedule, not 22.
There
so
you
don't
go.
bank on 4.
That's right.
As what's needed for the
C
meta.
Engineering is a perfect example of what we're talking about right here. He says, well, no, wait a second. It says that there's a buffer of 4 in the game. And that is exactly what Tarpy is talking about. The game is indicating that there's a buffer of 4. However, on the calendar. Now, that's not to say that Tarpy, it's also possible, albeit unlikely, it's also possible that they missed a pair of events in the calendar. So there could end up being a buffer. Okay.
Right.
We don't know yet.
We don't know, but that's also unlikely. I think we should go with what we see on the calendar, what has been confirmed.
Especially it being the last day of stuff going on.
Well, no, Cons Champions is going to last a little bit longer.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, just
this
a little
is
bit.
10 days.
Yeah, so you've got
and they
time.
put out the event calendar for all 10 days, which is why I wanted to make sure we knew that. I'm pretty sure that's a typo from the start.
Yeah. We are working under the assumption that this is going to be a buffer, just like it was last time, of 2 events. Now, by the way, that's for the meta, okay? We, as a community of min-maxers, we kind of set up last month, and we're talking about whether or not you could get a full unlock of one of the Chaos techs. I know that was something that you and I had chatted about last month. Did you guys end up getting a full unlock of the Godsend or Echo Papa?
Godsend.
You got the Godsend.
Placement
Thumbelina got the Godsend. That's right. And what that required was a different set of metrics. That required full participation in all the SMSs, plus a top 25 finish and an SLB.
Wow.
Okay. So that was like your stretch goal, if you will, Tarpy. It was the meta had a 2 SMS buffer and did not require any SLB. But if you wanted to min-max that loot, if you wanted to be able to get in and unlock the Godsend, all right, then you had to complete all of the SMSs and complete a top 25 in one of the 3 SLBs.
That's a tall ask for most people.
It is, but I also like that design. Tarpy, I love that design because we've talked about stretch goals. We've talked about extra rewards for the super grinders, and I like that. C Engineering says, I got the Godsend myself last month. I also unlocked the Godsend last month. I was very, very excited about that because I surpassed the meta and hit the next level of the stretch goal. I hit the next level to be able to get a better reward. And it was for free. Absolutely. So, Tarpy, mathematically, it looks like we are looking at the exact same thing. And just like last month, it's not without its challenges. Last month, there were some events that players felt were very, very challenging, including the Armada event. Some people really, really fussed about the Armada last month. What was it? Something like 25 or 30 Armadas for some players, not everybody.
It depends on your crew, and you have to participate in that many Armadas. So that's harder for maybe lower ops players who don't have the warp range, or players in small alliances or very young alliances or very young servers might have a problem with just having 20 Armadas to start.
The biggest issue I think a lot of players are experiencing with this a little bit is also the timers. 24 hours to do all of those Armadas.
Yeah. That's a lot in a little amount of time. Not enough time.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Especially if you don't have, and a lot of us more established players have T3 to T5 epics, and that's some big point swings if you don't have the officers that are listed at tier 3 or higher. So the more higher tiered officers you have, the fewer Armadas you have to join.
Yeah, I saw those comments yesterday. A couple of players said, listen, if I'm reading this right, I've got to do like 70 Armadas. Now, again, you don't have to start it. You don't have to spend those directives, but participating, holy smokes, what a thing. Now, I do want to point out a positive note that we did not see last month, or at least I don't remember seeing last month, Thumbelina, in which it was just you either had the officer or it had to be maxed. There wasn't anything in the middle. It was either tier 5 or you got the minimum number of points for using that officer. This month, they added in an additional metric in the middle for you guys.
I think that was there.
Was it there?
No, last month
that
it
was
wasn't.
there. Yeah, that was
I
there.
feel like it was.
Last month it was either you had the officer or it was tier 5. There was no tier 3.
I don't remember it being a tier 3. I didn't think it was in there, Tarpy. Madrock says it was not. Janusum
I don't
says it was
remember
not.
where I put my car keys and wallets. So
yeah, I don't think that was there. There was no middle ground. Tier 5 or nothing, says Convoluted. And so I did notice that. I appreciated that as a gesture towards allowing some players to accomplish this event a little bit easier. But we're gonna.
Can I just clarify?
Please.
You could still have the officer. It didn't matter what tier they were, but you got bonus points for tier 5. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. This time, there's 3 different tiers, if you will. You have having the officer unlocked. All right. Then there's extra points if you have the officer at tier 3. All right. And then there's the maximum points if you have the officer at tier 5. So they added that middle tier 3 qualifier there to get extra points.
That's wonderful.
Right.
That's a really good event design,
That
I think,
helps.
because it gives people a good reward for progress, but still easily helps you with completion.
It definitely made completion easier than it did last month. It's still a large number. It's
This
still
time
a large
I
number.
only needed 17 Armadas to be in to do it.
Now, fortunately, G6 players probably still had a little bit of an advantage because solos worked for us. Solos are cheaper on Armada quick starts. You don't rely on a team. You just go and do your own thing. That's actually how I did it, as I did it with solos yesterday. And it was better, says SilverTab, but a lot of people don't have any of those officers at tier 3, much less tier 5. So very, very challenging for a lot of players. I had a message in my own Galaxy chat from a guy who was relatively new to the game. He must have transferred into Server 15, said he didn't have hardly any of those officers, and it was going to take something like 100 Armadas. And I was
If
like,
you're
buddy,
just starting out, that's hard.
yeah, you got to join up with
But
the
for
team.
the vast majority of us, it's a lot easier. And so that was really good news with events. I do want to address one thing before you move on from events. Good news like that, notwithstanding, you still have the wax strip to the crotchal area, which is these away teams, and not having enough speed ups to do these away
Oh my
teams.
God.
Well,
and then
right?
not only do you have the cons challenge event yesterday, which ended at noon Eastern today, but what do you have for the final little slap? You have an away
An
teams
away team.
event today.
Now,
No synergy with what you already
Every
invested
other
yesterday.
every other day.
So what do you think about that,
The
DJ?
P1 ATAs
Yeah.
are every other day for the rest of that meta.
so this is probably my larger complaint or my larger warning to the community. Okay.
It's a cautionary tale.
Yes.
You just got to know what to expect.
We've got we just talked about the buffer, right? We talked about the buffer of 2 events that will allow you to skip for the purposes of the meta. But if you are pushing perfect completion, you're going to have to find ways to do all these. And funny enough, I still maintain this. My bigger challenge with this, Griffin, is not with the flippin' speed ups. It's with the planetary charts.
But this one includes also the original away teams.
So let's be clear, okay? In cons challengers, it is not including the original. In the priority 1 assignment master, this is only priority 1 assignments. Now, what Griffin is referring to for today's event is just the battle pass event. And yes, original ones will work. Trade XP will work. Okay, that is fine. This one is not the one that I'm worried about, but it's more the ones that Tarpy just mentioned is that we're going to have a priority 1 assignment master
Every other day.
That is going to be extremely difficult. Mainly, and to be fair, it's going to be extremely difficult for the vast majority of players because of the speed ups. I will totally acknowledge that. It's the speed ups for a lot of people because to complete that, and I don't think that it scales by ops, I had to complete 2 rares.
It's another one of these don't participate in a feature unless we're running an event for it type scenarios.
We talked about this last month, and even Matters was talking about that you really should not be spending your speed
crit a
up.
rare.
Well,
You have to crit a rare or an epic to do it in 1.
You can. That's
Yeah.
right. I did not crit. Okay. Most of us are not critting these yet. So I was able to do mine with, 2 rare completions. 2 rare completions would have given me the points to do it. And I am going to assume, MJ says 3 commons would have done it. I'm going to assume that this now must be scaling in points because 3 commons would not have finished mine. I would have needed 4 commons to finish mine. Raj says I did a rare and an uncommon, and it finished, so the points must be scaling. The points must be scaling. MJ says they all crit. No, they certainly don't. No, they do not.
I don't even
crit.
win all mine.
Still get failures.
Yeah, that's right. I'm still.
And I'm on level 10 of the research. I'm still like at 80% with a lot of these.
Yeah, so critting, a guarantee of a crit is certainly not necessarily a thing. Not with the new priority 1s, okay? Now, Shriva says, my RNG was good yesterday. I critted an epic On top of that, I got 28,000 Pioneer Crest. That's beautiful. That sounds like the crit that those rare crits that I hit here a week or so ago.
Winning.
Where
That's
I got like 40,000. I mean,
when
that's,
you see that, you smile. You know,
Yeah.
that's one of those moments
good feeling.
where game design does have it right, where you're engaged with this feature,
Yeah.
you have that happen, and it legitimately makes you happy.
Yeah, that is a nice thing. That's a good thing. So when we're looking at this overall meta, all right, I do think that there are some very significant pitfalls. We're going to have to be very choosy in the events that we are going to be able to complete. MJ says, I'm still saying planetary charts. I'm with you. For me, it's going to be planetary charts. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I've got days of speed ups because I'm pulling this and all that. But again, when you're talking about an epic start at 2,000 or a rare start at 700, and if I need 2 rare starts, that's 1,400. I don't earn that in 2 days. I don't earn that in 2 days. So I am probably boned here, to be perfectly honest with you, on finishing this meta, or at least finishing all of these every other day, Tarpy. I'm not going to be able to do it. All right. So I am now going to have to shift some of my makeup if I'm going to be pushing very, very difficult or pushing hard in this event store. I'm going to have to be looking at the leaderboards to try to make it up. And on top of that, all right, on top of that, you have another grind event today, Giorgio's Exiles. All right, this is using Strange New Worlds, Strange New Worlds, Sam Kirk, and Benga, and Section 31 Giorgio on the bridge. Okay, here to tell you, those being relatively new officers, a lot of people aren't going to have those maxed. Now, nice that we've got the tier 3 in the middle, but still going to require lots and lots of officer kills. We have Wrath of Khan Savick below deck. That's a paid officer. Okay? Tarpy, correct me if I'm wrong. Has Savick been unlockable free to play this month?
No.
No.
And she's not even technically unlockable with a $20 battle pass. You had to buy the second $20 battle pass.
Yeah, so you're looking at $40 just to get her unlocked. So that's a paid-only officer. Zeph, Section 31 Zeph, Section 31 A-Lock. Again, the sourcing is there for these guys, but they're newer. So people haven't had time to push these guys to Tier 3, much less Tier 5. All right. I see Silver Tab saying, I don't have any of these guys at tier 3. I'm scoring 10 points per kill. I'm going to need 240 kills. And this is one of those events that it doesn't matter the level. All right. Doesn't matter the level. Now, the good news, I may point out, there is a... Oh, now I am reading in the chat that the hunters are not scoring on this.
Yeah, I saw Blaze said that earlier too.
They're not.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna see if that happens for me too, Blaze. I'm gonna go there right now. And
Okay,
find out.
that's got to be a mistake. This event gets
They've done that before.
I get that, but
They've done
this
that before.
particular event would make sense if they were pushing Reliant sales. Okay. Because this event is very easy with a Reliant. That has to be a mistake. If you are listening from Scopely Event Design in our chat right now, I'm wondering if it's because Augment Exiles are coded differently than the D7s, if they just need to add that to the scoring table. That absolutely needs to be raised. I feel that is a mistake. I just straight up, I feel like that has to be a mistake. I'm going to send a text message right now. All right, hang on.
Please hold while UltimatDJz grabs his phone and sends a text message about the event. Make it all a little bit easier for us.
Yeah, this I feel like can't be real. All right.
Well, it's definitely real. Whether or not it was intended is definitely
The
the
Giorgio
question.
Exiles challenge is not counting D7s, though the event specifies Augment Exile Hostiles.
Ooh.
My guess is that they are coded differently as D7s, but this event will be very difficult to complete. My recommendation would be to add the D7s. This will not only allow for better completion.
Too long, didn't read.
Okay. My recommendation will be to add the D7s, as it will provide incentive to invest in the Reliant.
Perfect.
Send.
You do
Is
pretty
this
good at that. with
maybe that
Capitalize.
bug? Is this maybe that bug where we've seen it before, where they have you have to do the attacking, and there's like a checkbox somewhere where they just forgot to click it
Well, we're going to find
to
out.
have Yeah.
It also could be because they're hunters. If that's the case, there is a checkbox in your event designer for that. Okay, we will see. All right, because I got to tell you that feels like a mistake to me. Okay, so we'll find out. We'll find out. And if that is the case, if the hunters are supposed to count, that provides further incentive on the Reliant, absolutely. But now it will provide a little bit easier of a completion rate with this SMS event and allow players to use the buffer on the Priority 1 ATS.
I could also see them going the other way and saying, well, no, we just wanted them to engage, and so that's why it's for attack only.
Well, we will find out. The interesting thing is that this whole mechanic is built around auto grinding.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? So it almost doesn't jive for that particular reasoning to be behind it. It would be like saying, hey, listen, in Monavine space, we're going to make an active hunt event. That's not what it was built for. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this could end up being modified. Hopefully, we will see. I will try to get you guys an answer while we're live today. But I did just now send that up into dev chat.
Enterprise points out that the DY200 does work, but that's the Loot Goblin, right? So you have
is
to
a
attack
Loot
that
Goblin,
no matter
and you're
what.
attacking it. That's
Yeah.
right. You're attacking that. So, it's probably not even the D7 thing. Tarpy's probably right. It's probably the Augment
checkbox,
Hunter
yeah.
thing. Yeah, the checkbox for that.
Well.
Now, this all to say, all right, that Cons Challengers meta is certainly challenging. It was challenging last month. It feels more challenging this month, given the frequency of some of the Priority 1 ATAs, the scaling of points, the officers that are newer. This is definitely a challenging event. I want to be very, very clear on the fact that I love having a challenging event. I love having events that provide partial completion. If you look at this event, guys, real quick, the meta is just paying officer depot tokens, which, by the way, are very valuable. Okay, yeah. Those are straight up officer shards. All right, but you're not missing anything by not finishing this meta. Let me be very clear. With this meta, you are getting rewards every single milestone, partial rewards every single milestone. Okay, it is not a complete it or lose. The exception may be Tarpy in these completely ultra lame Apex Pulsar cosmetic shards that are in the top milestone. Who cares? I last month we didn't even talk about this thing because it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares about that. What we're looking at are the choice tokens in milestone number 1, 10,000, 15,000 in milestone 2, 25,000 in milestone 3, 50,000 in milestone 4. Who cares about that top milestone? Get what you can get. This to me, Tarpy, and I'm going to say something that might be very risky. This to me feels like the style of heroic I have been asking for. And let me be clear. I want the abolishment of the word heroic. I want it gone. I think players are more than intelligent enough to determine what they're capable of on their own. They do not need Scopely to tell you whether it's a heroic event or if it's a spend event or if you need to hold your left hand up in the sky when you go to take a pee. Okay?
What?
None of that. We don't need instructions. Okay? I don't want instructions.
Okay, I'll support your bill to have the word abolished if you'll support my bill to have the effing back button put in the narrative.
I agree with I've said that.
Okay, so they're now together. They're now bundled together, and we want both done.
Okay, listen, and by the way, maybe mine's already been done because Cons Challengers meta does not contain the word heroic. This is a do what you can, and if you don't finish it, no big deal. You're not missing on anything. You're just getting less rewards. And doesn't that make sense?
You get rewards based on the work.
You get rewards based on your accomplishment. You get more rewards the more you accomplish. If you can't do it all, you're not barred from anything. Now, somebody might come back and say, well, DJ, by the other token, you're saying then that I might be barred from getting a full unlock of Echo Papa or Papa Echo, whatever it's supposed to be. That was a community min-max thing. That was us figuring out what amount of loot was needed to unlock a free-to-play $100 pack. And mind you, that should not be easy.
No.
That should not be a guarantee. Okay?
Let me play a devil's advocate. What is the harm for you in having this word put on the particular SLBs or SMSs?
Because then the community gets all worked up and fired up over whether or not it should be completable for XYZ investment. And when I say investment, either grind or should they be saving? This is the question we had, Tarpy. Priority 1 ATAs, okay? An individual and event may not be heroic, all right? But it also assumes that you have a little bit of inventory. It assumes that you have a little bit of stock.
That you've planned ahead and saved up.
I hesitate on using the word hoarding because Scopely doesn't like hoarding.
No, they hate it.
But we have also taught, don't spend yourself to zero. You know what I'm saying? Don't spend yourself to zero. Now, Mord says changing the word doesn't change player sentiment. I disagree. I think the community has become too reliant on the word heroic. All right? If they see the word heroic, they assume it's spend. And half the player base says, piss on it.
Wait a minute, but are they wrong to assume that?
No, because that's how it started. But it's not that way anymore.
Okay,
right?
so
there
now
are
use the word
heroic
heroic
events.
for things that you are meant to do that don't require spending.
Well, there are heroic events that are very free to play completable with proper strategy, planning, and
Okay, so then your argument is not eliminate heroic. Your argument is come up with a different name for that event, or just don't call it heroic at all.
That's it. I want to get rid of heroic.
But there are cases where it is spend only to win.
But I think that players are intelligent enough to be able to look at that event and say, okay, I can do this, or I need to buy a pack to do this, or I cannot do this. I think that should be on us.
I think that is the crux of where the chat is coming from as to whether or not they do or not agree with you.
Well, I think so. But on the other hand, look at events like Cons Challengers that are not labeled heroic. And then people are pissy because they assume, in this case incorrectly, that they should be able to do everything with a reasonable amount of grind, or they should be able to complete everything with participation. And that is clearly not the case here. Okay, you cannot have enough planetary charge to do this event unless you get lucky. You cannot have enough speed ups unless you get lucky, or have been hoarding these for days, maybe weeks.
Which means you've missed out on other events.
You've missed out on some other stuff. So the fact that this is not labeled heroic, all right, is throwing people off. Then they're complaining. This is what you and I were talking about yesterday. They're complaining that they can't complete it. Tarpy is telling us right here, guys, this event is going to pop up 4 more times.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And to be honest with you, even min-max players are probably going to struggle to do this 4 more times. You're probably going to have to spend, if you want to do them all, probably, I say probably, okay? You're probably going to have to spend to do them all, but they're not labeled heroic. And that's a silly thing for us to get caught up on, in my opinion.
It is.
Okay? It's a silly thing for us to get caught up on. I agree with this comment in the chat, which is we just need to be able to look at the events and determine whether or not we should be able to do it. Mord says players should always read the events and how the scoring works and determine your own ability to participate. And that is what I agree with.
I mean, that's sort of the onus of the player. That's on our shoulders as a player to understand the rules of the game and then make a choice as to whether or not we will engage at all, or how much we are going to engage, or what our expectations should be.
Now, Minnie says, what if the community just wants Scopely to own up and be transparent about events that are pay only? But they're not pay only for everybody. That's
right.
the thing. Even look at the officer milestones, the tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 this month for who is
Scotty.
it? For Scotty. Okay. Those are labeled heroic. And for most of us, they probably are. You know,
but not if you've saved up enough stuff.
That's right.
Over time.
I mean, look at I don't know. I mean, there are players, Jonathan Ingram, Cruzito, Canine Tooth. They probably have this stuff. Now, that's not because they didn't already spend, but they had this stuff. They've gone back and they've built 22 G5 epics. They are finishing this event. They didn't buy packs for G5 ships.
Melina?
I could choose right now to go from 50 further up. I have the materials, but I didn't, and complete for Scotty.
Oh,
Go all the way up.
there you go.
And you can do it
I'm
without
making-
buying a pack.
Without buying a pack.
And that's the choice based on your
And
planning.
that's my choice based on planning
Mm-hmm.
because I took Scotty where I wanted him because I know I need those planetary charts in order to upgrade him. So I'm choosing to take him. I have the materials to take him to the level I want and see who I'm going to have as an officer next month as well. That's my choice. I did not buy anything in order to get him, and I will be able to do that for another couple of months the same way, unless I like that officer enough and I'm going to say, you know what, I could possibly go as high as 57.
Well, that demonstrates that we all have different positioning in the game based on our planning and our game style. And that's why it's very hard, DJs, to put an accurate label on something.
Exactly.
And why you want to abolish it
You
for that reason.
need to read those events. I agree with him. Take that word heroic out. That's like saying somebody could, no matter what, could never buy a house. You need to understand what you're able to do, no matter what. You need to understand your position, because sometimes things are doable. You need to read and understand. We're playing a game that involves understanding. Putting a label on it sometimes takes a person's position and say, I can't. And you need to change that. I agree.
I agree. And that's why I say, Minnie, that the word heroic is too bottlenecked, or not bottlenecked, it's too pigeonholed, all right? That puts players in a position to where they could maybe do that event without spending, and then they might not be able to. Heroic, Benny Hill says, should be more of a caution sign. That would be great, but that's not what the community expects. Nor, by the way, in fairness, Benny Hill, nor has Scopely trained the community that way. Heroics used to be pay only. They are no longer that anymore. And that's because I feel like they have also fallen into the same trap in which we have expected certain things.
Ooh.
And that's why I think that the term should be abolished.
To his point, instead of calling it that word that we hate, let's call it yellow alert. Think more. That means you got to think about it.
Yeah. Put up the yellow caution sign.
Yellow alert.
I like what Dave Strauss
Your
said.
frame around it.
Yeah. It's just, put a gold frame on it. I don't know.
So that's two golden ideas that I've given you, Scopely, this week. Thank you for implementing, obviously, the first one with the command badges. Now, yellow alerts, problem solved.
Or, community, let's protect ourselves from... Let's protect ourselves from design pitfalls. Let's protect ourselves from being forced into a situation that might require spend for completion. Let's strategize and be prepared for what it is that we know we need to do. And we talked about this last time. Don't spend yourself to zero on speed ups. All right. I remember, Tarpy, having this conversation when original speed ups came out. Now, I think right now it's too early in this cycle for you to be able to bank this up. But I went back and referenced this. Do you know, even with original ATAs, do you remember how many days of speed ups we recommended that you spend down to? Like, don't go below. We did this.
You're asking the wrong person.
We took events. It was more than that. We actually recommended 8 to 10 days because an epic could take 5 days. All right. An epic could take 5 days. And we looked at events and the events that would pop and say, okay, well, you could do it with 2 epics, or you could do it with 3 rares, or you could do it with this or that. We recommended a bank of 7 to 10 days on original speed ups. That's going to be even higher now. Okay, because the rares take 5 days. The epic takes 6 days. Now, Quazel says, yeah, but with the spend SLB. Nope. Sorry. Denied. I do not count SLBs in any type of metric. That is above and beyond. We're talking completion of a meta. We're talking completion of a solo milestone. You want to go in on an SLB? That's up to you. You determine that. But I got to be honest with you, Quazel. The SLB rewards blew. Why did anybody even spend on that event? Why would you spend your bank to zero on an event that had crappy rewards? That was terrible. Blah.
How do you really feel?
So my tiny pushback on that particular SLB, even though the rewards are admittedly horrible, is the comment that we didn't know that this amazing, I actually love this event series and I'd love to give an overall review of it after, but we didn't know this was coming. We didn't know these 4 days of P1 ATAs were coming.
I know.
Or 5 days.
Yeah.
So then the very end of an arc for that content, no, you never spend all the way down, but we had no idea or even a reasonable thought to think that this event was coming back.
To be fair.
So people spending down that time would have been okay.
I still recommend a minimum bank. However, I agree with you 1,000%. that 5 of them is something nobody could have been prepared for, okay? Even if I was coming into this, I would say, listen, 12 to 15 days, all right? That's enough for 2 or 3 assignments, okay? 12 to 15 days is the bank that you should keep. By the way, all right, I'm going to point this out. For G6, yeah, for the Sigma, okay? And listen, if you're G5 and down, you have zero problem. Zero.
G3 and G4 might.
Why?
Well,
They might
no,
have
we
problems.
actually do have problems, DJ.
Planetary
and
charts.
I will give you
Planetary charts.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I have not started a P1 ATA for over 14 days, and I still only had 500 of the stuff to start. Even with my one.
Whoa.
What? You get 250 a
That's
day
not
for
even
free.
possible, dude. You're not engaging. You cannot have you could not have started one for 14 days and have 500. That is not possible. You're not pulling the chest.
Sorry. I had started one like 4 days ago that was like it was my very first epic, and I had and it was done and run, and I was waiting, and I'm like, okay, I'll collect it the last day of this event. Might as well get something in that event. I'd been sitting on it for a couple days, but I collected it. Even if I would have collected it today during this event, during the event that just happened, it still wouldn't have scored me enough to complete it because I didn't crit it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have enough to run another one to crit. You would have had to run 2 or 3 and not crit it, or at least run a rare and crit. And that wasn't really necessarily possible for most people. So it was the starts.
I agree that starts are an issue, but I am also going to come back and say, hey, listen, Jules has done teaching on this as well. Don't do epics. Okay, the epics are not good bang for your buck. If you pull an epic and you're not swimming in planetary charts, refresh it. Do not spend 2,000 planetary charts on an epic if you're free to play. Don't.
I did an epic. Do you know why I did an epic? Because I haven't gotten a reroll in such a long time, and I only have one slot that I'm like, oh, common. Oh, here's an epic. Finally, something that's not a common. I'm going to jump on it. Because there was nothing else to do. There was nothing in the schedule. There was nothing said, hey, save.
Yeah, so I'm sympathetic to that. But at the same time, like, you fell prey to FOMO, dude. I'm going to start that epic because I keep pulling commons, and I'm going to go ahead and blow my planetary charts on an inadequate assignment. That's what you did. And I'm
sure, but here's the thing. If I keep waiting, if I wait 5 days, then I've just waited it out, and I should have started it anyways. And without having it on the schedule, without knowing that something was coming, without knowing any of that, how would I have known, like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that? I was just sitting there waiting to do something, and I waited several days, so I finally started it.
I hear you, and I understand your plight. Okay, I don't think that is broadly indicative of how most players' experiences are going. To have started one ATA in 10 days is probably not how people should be playing this. I'm going to point out that.
Then
hang on, no. I'm gonna give you some math. All right, you spent 2,000. You spent 2,000 planetary charts on an epic that wouldn't have finished the event. You say you keep pulling commons and commons and commons, yet 4 commons would have finished this event. And 4 commons would have cost you less than 60% of the planetary charts that you spent on the epic. You did one epic at 2,000. You could have spent 400 on a common. So you could have spent 1,600 on commons and finished the event if you had the speed ups, but you also have the speed ups, right? Because you're using standard speed ups. So as far as planetary charts, this is why Jules warned people about the cost, the extreme cost of doing epics, all right? 4 commons could have finished this event. You could have spent 1,600 planetary charts. You have the speed ups. Instead, you spent 2,000 planetary charts on an assignment that didn't finish the event. You see what I'm saying? So maybe FOMO is not the right word. Hang on, Putz. All right? Maybe FOMO is not the right word, pal, but there's still strategy, okay? He spent too many planetary charts on an assignment that doesn't have the value, and we identified that early on, that it's not going to have the value, all right? You have to look at the value of the planetary charts as compared to the speed ups, as compared to the points that it's going to give you. All right. MJ says there's not enough, and I'm not disagreeing that there's not enough. Okay, I'm not disagreeing that there's not enough, but as a strategic player, as a min-maxer, we should have probably identified that. Blue Meanie says the Epic was a huge risk. It was a gamble, didn't pay off. And I think that's what it is. Go ahead, Putz, with your final thought, and then we got to move on.
Yeah, I just got to say that I just think that the math, even if you wanted to look at it as, well, if you did all this and you did all that, you had to do X, Y, and Z. I still think the math for completing that, you have to do 4 commons at basic, and how many days is that? That's 6. They're 3 days long or 4 days long.
Or 4,
That's
I believe.
16 days. They're 4. That's 16 days of speed ups that you have to spend in one day, and have enough starts to do that in one day. Now that's 1,600. How many days would that take you to collect as a free to play, as an average player, even if you were able to pull a double chest every 2 days
6
or
days.
every 3 days?
6 days.
That's
Certainly
a lot.
not.
That's
Certainly
a
not
lot.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I will further agree that doing that 5 times over a course of 10 days is a problem, right? That, I think, is the larger problem here, is Cons Challengers has got this thing built in 5 days. But 1 day, it's not a problem, Putz. And when you're talking about speed ups, bro, you're using traditional speed ups. You're not going to get any sympathy from anybody out there on running out of traditional ATA speed ups.
I'm worried about the starts. I'm worried about the starts
that.
for me.
I get that.
Starts
but
for anybody.
You just talked about 16 days worth of speed ups to do the event. No one's going to give you any cards on the speed ups part. All right. The planetary charts, agreed. All right. Planetary charts, agree. And that was where I say, listen, 1 or even 2 of these events, not a big deal. 5 of them, that's tough. Okay. I agree. That's why I say this whole thing is very challenging. You're going to have to pick and choose the events that you can do by looking at the calendar, by figuring out what it is that you can do, and then scaling and predicting your event store loot in this store. I do think, Tarpy, in summary, that this feels more challenging than last month's series. We're looking at the other half of the hijacked ship unlock. We're talking about finishing the Godsend. Now there's officer badges in here for you to sink loot on. Everybody who's been talking about the officer badges, you can spend 4,000 of your loot here. Right here. You could spend almost 4,200. You could spend 4,200 of your loot right here just on badges for those who have really, really needed badges. That didn't factor in to our calculations last month. So you got to be really, really careful. This is an idea, an example of the pitfalls that are present within this meta, and where there's going to be a lot of divergence in player choice and what you're going to be able to get. I think, in summary, Tarpy, tell me if I'm wrong, I think it's going to be much harder for players to finish this meta this month than it was last month.
Yeah. So I love it. I'm absolutely fine with it. Can I just give my overall summary of this event and why I like it?
Yes.
Before we move on?
Because I'm going to agree with you in all likelihood. Go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say, but I'm going to agree with you, I bet.
So doing the polls from this, okay? So you do most of the events, you still get progression that you wouldn't have had they not run this event.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure they didn't mean to run this again. So you're doing grinds that you probably would have done anyway. You're getting Armada loot, you're getting rep, you're getting whatever for the grinds that you're doing. Plus, you're getting stuff to get out of that event store. So even if you don't unlock a full Chaos Tech, ship skin, whatever, Scopely has been doing a really good job recently of making things free to play eventually. So if you don't finish it, you're ahead of where you would have been if you didn't get it later. So you're getting free stuff for doing grinds in the game, using officers that you're also getting tokens by doing those grinds to help progress those officers. So in these grinds, if you're finding that, oh man, I really need to up my whomever, you're getting tokens to go do that. So this event, I would love, love, love to see this happen every month between arcs. And maybe they refresh the event store in it every couple months. But this is, people are doing grinds. People are getting officer tokens that they wouldn't have had before. People are engaging. I saw people in our AC who don't usually talk, who don't usually participate or run armadas, participating and running armadas yesterday.
That's the word, engagement, Tarpy. You're exactly right, and that's what they're
Yeah.
achieving with this model.
Right. Yeah.
Now-
So if they ran this every month, I would actually love that. Even the P1 ATA challenge that it is, I still think it would be worth it for what you get out of it.
I don't disagree, given the partial progression mechanics that they've got. All right, it's not required for you to complete. You're getting rewards. I look at this kind of, not the same, but kind of like Kobayashi Maru. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out, but it's not required to finish milestone 4 for you to get a payout. It's not required for you to finish milestone 3 to get a payout. You get a milestone at each, you get a payout at each milestone that is the same. Okay, so it's tough to kind of keep going that way. Also, Enterprise is pointing out this is actually super hilarious. You know, we were just making fun of the top milestone in the meta. Like, who cares about the projectile? Enterprise tells us, listen, even if you complete it, you're going to be short 5. Like, if you did the meta last one, you do the meta this one, you're still going to be short. Again, I go back to who cares? Okay, who cares? It's a stupid projectile. So, it's not a thing. Now, shorts.
That doesn't make anybody feel happy, though.
No, but it's silly. It's silly. That just further proves that shouldn't be the focus. All right, I know some people care, MJ, and that's probably also a mistake, unless 5 of them came in a mission somewhere. All right, unless 5 of them came in a mission.
You could buy a pack with 40 shards.
Get out of
the
here.
last month. Yeah, they sold the other half in a pack.
Now, I am going to point out to Shorts in chat, all right, is the math off? I will agree. Yes, I think the math is off. It doesn't make the structure of the event bad, okay? Short says, I got to kill 240 hostiles. I agree. That's a slog. Probably not fun. It would be different if the revenge hostiles counted. It'd be different if you had the Reliant. Blaze says the same thing. I spent money on a ship to auto-grind hostiles, only for them to come out with an event that says auto-grinding doesn't count. I think that's a mistake, Blaze. I've sent the message. I have not.
You're talking about this event right here, the Giorgio's Exile Challenge?
Yes.
Well, that's only going to take me 25 hits.
What? No.
I just did 2 and I got 63. And you only need 2,400. I mean, is that
no, your math is wrong. Your math.
Putz. 2,400 divided by 63.
No, you did 2 hostiles. So divided. Wait, you got 63 points off 1 hostile?
I just hit it.
Nobody is in that boat, dude.
I just hit it once.
Bull snot. Show me look at your officers.
I'll check my math. Go ahead.
Your officers. There's no way. Your officers must be maxed.
I don't know.
Yeah, nobody's getting 60 points per kill, dude. I can tell you that right now.
I got 20.
Nobody's getting 60 points per kill. All right, look, Ohio is getting 8 points per kill.
I get 20.
Omicron is a level 70, is getting 19 points per kill. Your math is off there, bro.
I'll just go sit in the jacuzzi and identify minutes. Sorry.
All right.
And hitting the D7s counts. It's if they hit you, it doesn't. But if you hit them, it does count.
That's still bad.
I know, but
that's still So,
but you can't hit your own because you're already targeted.
Oh gosh. Okay, hang on. I got to go back in. I got to go back into dev chat. This is actually kind of bad. Can we turn
is it they have to attack you?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Thumbelina, Bearbutt, I'm so glad to see you guys.
Yes.
Put says hi.
So I was just told defending against D7s does not score. People need to be the attacker. I responded with, this is actually kind of bad. Can we turn on the auto grinder for the ship designed and sold to be an auto farmer? Pretty please.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair request.
That's short, right? TLDR. We'll see what happens with that. But that's what I'm saying. Now, Enterprise says attacking D7s doesn't count. In fact, it does. We just verified that.
You can't attack yours because it's already targeted you. You have to attack another one.
He is correct. That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's worse.
That's worse. That is worse. Oh God!
Steal somebody else's. You
gotta go in and steal other people's auto grinders.
Here he is. He's stuck. I'm gonna hit him.
You got.
And there it is.
You gotta steal.
Comically worse.
Oh, that is comically worse. Okay. Wow. Wowzers. Okay.
It's nothing if not consistent.
That is shenanigans to the 7th degree. Okay. Yeah, I don't like that design, but we'll continue to monitor that and keep you guys posted on that as well. Either way, listen, Shorts, I agree. This is a slog. No, Daystress, I'm not going to say you need a comp chest. All right. Again, this comes down to heavy engagement. We have seen ridiculous grinds. Let's start to transition into Wrath of Khan as a whole, shall we? This whole season has been super grind intensive. This whole season has been about grinding reputation that is infinitely grindable, that allows players to progress at their own pace. It still gets huge marks from me simply on that front. No time gates, no pay gates, literally going. I went in and I am this close. Me, a non-grinder. I am this close to maxing Joaquin. This close. Like, I need probably another 30 or 40,000 trophies. All right? This is massive to me. Maxing Joaquin,
And
an epic officer.
And I'm just still getting close to the 60 million.
And so you can play at your own pace.
Yeah.
I'm not at 120 million yet. I'm getting very close. I think I'm at like 110 million.
That is impressive for you. I'm probably
It is
about
impressive for
70.
me.
You hate to.
For some reason, I kind of got in this thing.
And I'm at
all right?
77 million. That's, you stole my thunder. That's all there is to say about this arc. The grind is enormous, but you can do it at your speed and your pace, and there are very few gates in your way. The participation is your choice alone and how far you want to take it. And I think that's a true choose your own adventure, DJs, and I love those books.
It is. And that's why I think that this is, it still deserves high marks. Shorts, yes, it's grindy. Yes, there's rewards there if you do the grind. Yes, this is what Bubba said last month between the arcs. Whether or not you appreciate the price tag of what Scopely has set on the grind, that is one conversation entirely. That's a personal conversation. It's a decision that you get to make that decides whether or not your time is worth the investment that Scopely is asking. The bottom line is they're giving us that option. Right. They're giving us the option for it to be grindable. There were players like Lost In, like Cruzito, like Canine Tooth. Actually, I don't think he grounded out. He bought the packs. But there are Jonathan Ingram. Okay, there are players.
Do it the way you want.
Yeah, Panda. Okay, there are players who went out and maxed their reputation in the first month that did it within days. Okay, Lost In says I want it more. All right, Dragon Keeper. Now, see, here's the thing. You say Dragon Keeper says they say less screen time, and then remove that option and give you more screen time. That's the difference, Dragon Keeper. It is an option.
You didn't have to do it in this month.
You didn't have to do it in this month. As a matter of fact, you lose nothing by doing it at your own pace. Okay? You lose nothing by doing it at your own pace. That is what is so key and crucial about this arc that cannot be undersold. Mr. Tiger came out on the show and talked about his ethical quandary.
Yeah, he was actually worried, am I convincing people or opening people up to the possibility of addiction level playing because they could literally sit there for 18 hours a day and I'm not giving them a coffee break.
Yeah. And then he came out on his second appearance and said, okay, you know what? I'm going to back off from this a little bit because players are really, really liking this option. Moreover, players didn't abuse the option, right? Some players went all in, and the design allowed them to do so. Other players, like Griffin, are playing a little bit slower. You're almost to 60 million, which, by the way, is still fantastic. We're less than 2 months in. Yeah.
All right? I was free to play last month. I couldn't buy anything.
We're 50 days in.
Slow to play.
50
What a jerk.
I just said you are enjoying it at your own pace.
I am indeed. No, you said I was slow. SLOW. Replay, please.
All right. Convoluted says, then you have players like me. I'm done with both arcs already. So, Mike, 106 million, free to play. I think the point that I'm drawing here, Dragon Keeper, is you can't come out and slam the screen time. And that's what I'm going to say to you, Shorts, as well. You can't come out and slam the screen time. Bubba Joe pointed this out on the last show. We got to be very, very careful in the feedback here. Okay, this is where Scopely gets it wrong, guys. This is where Scopely messes up and misinterprets feedback.
Oh, by listening to the vocal minority.
By listening to people who don't accurately, necessarily, identify the actual problems.
Or complain for the sake of complaining because it's cool online.
And by the way, I'm not calling you out specifically, Shorts. I'm referencing your comment.
Or Dragon Keeper.
Or Dragon Keeper.
No.
I'm referencing your comment specifically. okay, is that you say, for example, 240 for the average player is bad design. I personally am going to agree with you. That's opinion, though. The fact that the grind is available makes it passable.
And it's
you
the
may
value
not,
proposition is what you get for those
exactly.
240 hostels.
You may not agree with the price tag of it, but the grind is available. You see what I'm saying? All right, this is the same thing that Bubba was talking about with Joaquim, unlocking Fleet Commander Khan, maxing Joaquim. This is what he was talking about. Can you go out, and if you bust your tail, can you do it on day one? The answer is yes. Then everybody needs to sit down and relax.
Oh, really?
You can do it when you can without risk of loss.
You know, that's a lot of opinions for somebody who doesn't play the game anymore.
It's a valid opinion. It's part of why
I'm
he
not
quit the game.
discounting the opinion. I'm simply making a mental note. I'm going,
You know what? It's part of the reason he left the game.
It is. Well, yeah.
All right. It's part of the reason he left the game because Scopely can get out of their own way when it comes to allowing players to taste their new features, to test drive their new features, to do this stuff. So
Is Bubba Joe secretly playing the game again?
I think so.
I think so, too.
I think so.
I think so.
By the way, Bubba Joe is trying to secretly, and now not so secretly, drop in on us at San Diego Comic-Con. Just throwing that out there, all right? So we might have
You
a...
thought about it and still went ahead with it.
I did. I was thinking, okay, that was supposed to be a secret? Well, too late now.
But it wasn't even too late. It wasn't
My
too
God,
late.
man.
The door was still
You had
closed.
one job.
Ah, damn it. Okay.
Wow.
Bubba
Well,
Joe.
I had nothing to do with that.
You
For
had
the
one job. You had one job.
Whoops. All right. Anyway, we'll see Bubba Joe at San Diego Comic-Con, all right? Yeah.
No, Scott, if
Probably.
he's trying to,
Maybe.
you will definitely see him at Comic-Con. Is there any other breaking news today?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying definitely. We're still working on the plans. He
You
is...
literally
You
just
just
said
did.
definitely.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, I did not. I don't think I said definitely. Roll back that beautiful beam
Yes,
footage.
you did.
All right, Bubba Joe will likely see us at San Diego Comic-Con, okay? Likely.
Lord.
But again,
But he'll have a ticket.
short. Yeah, that's right.
Bubba Joe,
He'll
unlike
be able
other
to-
people, prepared.
He'll be able to get in. Yeah. So again, I do want to point out this was it was a very vocal. I think that comment really hit home that he spoke here a couple of weeks ago. Is there's two different conversations. One is it grindable, unlimited, infinitely, at your own pace? The answer is yes. The second question is, do you agree with the investment that they're asking for in terms of that grind? If this same event required 10,000 hostels, we'd all pretty much sit down and be like, yeah, pass.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? Nah, we're probably not going to do it. 240 hostels, some of you are already there. Probably not going to do it. 100 hostels, most of us probably would. 30 hostels, we'd all do it. Okay? This comes down to what you find value in. All right. And that is why I say, Shorts, we got to be very, very careful. This event, in your opinion, is mathematically bad as far as the objectives, the milestones, right? I will actually agree with you there. Okay. I don't like the value there for me. By the way, I'm going to do it because of the event store and because of the meta. All right. So I guess the value is there for me, I guess. Yeah. But that doesn't mean I like it, but I'm going to do it. All right. Some people are going to say, no, thank you. Other people, like Lost In, they're already done. He says, bring it. Okay, so that does come into the value proposition. Let me ask you, if you're scoring, if you got to kill 250 hostiles to get a spot in this meta, you guys doing this? You guys are big grinders anyway, right?
She's a grinder. I really do not like grinding. I try to.
Me
get away
neither,
from it.
buddy.
I'll sit and do it while I'm watching TV. Just sit
Yeah.
there, boom, 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 and not even pay attention.
Like
and
when
do
you're
it.
in the pool. That's
For
when
me,
I
it's
did mine.
120 hostels, so
Precisely.
it's doable. I'm going to do it.
120 hostels. Okay.
I need 102. I did my math. I was wrong. I needed 102.
See, 102, I feel like I would do.
Just wish it auto ground.
Yeah.
I don't because I
I'm
think
with
that's
Blaze.
too cheap.
No.
I like that I'm doing this because I'm
Cheap.
always participating.
We
Yeah.
bought the ship.
I think for the
I don't
ship,
mean cheap
this month-
dollar wise. I mean
This
cheap.
month.
It's a cheesy. It's a cheesy way to
No,
get.
it's not cheesy.
Okay.
This is coming back and fully exploring the intent of the Reliant. These hostels are meant to be auto ground. Look at the trophies. Look at the loot distribution. Look at how the ship
There are
scales. with
and
strength.
you're rewarded for that in many ways. You expect another way to be rewarded for
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yes.
So for me, my Reliant can't get up into the systems that are giving me the uncommon as well. Right now, I'm grinding away in the higher systems with my other ship to get the uncommons.
So
as
it's actually
well
gonna be
as
easier for you,
me,
yeah.
Yes, I'm grinding, but I'm getting other things, not just the commons.
Fair enough.
So for me, the grind is giving me something else. My Reliant is sitting there auto grinding, doing getting me my commons, helping me with my rep, and I'm using another ship in the higher systems, giving me the uncommons as well.
And
Fair
I have
enough.
the opposite problem. I'm up there so high that thanks to you, I now have a cargo hold filled with these stupid blessed commons.
No,
that
don't
I have
you
to send my
dare.
ship back,
Tarpy,
because
shut him up.
I don't get the epics that I need.
Nope. Oh, I'm mad about this too.
No, that was not my feedback.
That is 1,000%.
That
your
was
feedback.
not my
Okay.
feedback.
Can I just
Boy.
toss one more thing in here I love about this event series
Please.
that y'all just kind of background alluded to? It doesn't matter what level hostile you hit.
Yes.
So
That's true.
regardless of your officer tiers, it does not matter what level hostile you hit. So you just have to have some of those officers.
And
So you don't have to be hitting level 70s.
That's true. You can hit any
which
level.
opens this event up to everybody.
That's true. Now, I am
Really?
going to address two more comments in the chat regarding Cons Champions. We'll get ready to move on. Lost In says, this grind actually takes less time than what you've spent talking about it.
I completely, that was in my mind 2 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Not probably for shorts, 240. Okay, probably not for shorts. But again, the fact that it is still doable. Dragon Keeper, your final comment here is pay to accelerate the grind using the Reliant, but then they took that away. Why even do the event? No, they didn't. All right. Again, this is dangerous. You have to separate your ideas that you're talking about. The event does not reward auto grinding. I will agree with you on that. You have not lost any of the value in your Reliant. That loop, that auto grind, everything is still there. You've lost nothing. You have, as Griffin will point out, you're kind of agreeing, your point is more in alignment with Griffin's in that the ship is not going to auto grind this event. Okay? You didn't buy events when you bought the ship. You bought the loop. You bought the feature. You bought acceleration within that loop. You did not buy completion of events.
That's exactly my
Okay?
point.
Yeah. So you got to be careful with that. Now, so you can't say they took away the auto grind element. This event was not designed around auto grinding. So is what it is, okay? But and for the record, personally, I would have loved for auto grinding to be included. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm also not going to say they took away my value. That's not what happened. All right, you got to be careful with that.
Mine is still giving me value while I'm grinding.
It's fair. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so that is Cons Champions, a wonderful event series that is certainly stepping up in its challenge for certain, and stepping up a little bit, Tarpy, in some of what we're seeing players having to kind of really pay attention to. Not to be confused with Cons Champion, which has run 3 times this month and has been also very, very phenomenal. Also dropping Officer Depot tokens, also dropping Con skill points, dropping a few Scotty shards. These have been the 5-day event series now that we've run 3 times. And if I'm not mistaken, this is also, Tarpy, month 2 of this type of event design. And again, reiterating on that a little bit this month, a lot of the players really, really liking that they could bulk play it, that they had basically an entire week on the timer. You had 5 days for these 4 events. 4 events, 5-day timer, do what you want, when you want. These events, unlike some of the others, Tarpy, actually came back and reinforced the design that Mr. Tiger implanted into Wrath of Khan, which is play at your own pace. Do what you want, when you want, bulk play. All right? How did you guys feel about the Cons Champion series?
I love them, and I hate the name. I just hate the name. Why do I have Cons Champions and then I have Cons Champion? Why do I have the same icon in 32 different colors for 32 different currencies?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a mental limitation to where I am severely affected by that lack of imagination. Because I cannot keep them straight in my head, and thus I don't remember what I'm supposed to be doing, and thus I miss out on stupid stuff. And is that a Griffin problem? Yes, that's a Griffin's problem. But really, the English language is a very big and diverse catalog of words.
Yeah.
The book is big, this dictionary. Why do we have to have Conch Champions and Conch Champion on the same month? That's I realize it's a bitch, but I love the event.
No, you know what? It's not. You don't have two cons champions. You've got cons champions and cons challengers.
Even so, see how confusing that is.
Chia. Listen, I mean, they are different words.
There are a lot of other letters in the
See,
alphabet.
Thumbelina agrees with me. So on the corners of the table here, first base and third base have the same problem.
Yeah, listen, I don't disagree. I have also, Tarpy, found myself actually a little bit thrown off this month by trying to remember which events go with which series. I don't necessarily disagree.
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the ADHD.
Which, oh my God, you agree? Oh my God, we're all dumb. Which, oh my God?
No comment.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Tarpy does not
I'm
agree.
just going to go jump in the pool.
Tarpy doesn't agree with us right now. I will say, and I appreciate you guys pointing this out in chat. Convoluted says, outside Griffin's very valid
Wait,
point.
Mitchell's leaving?
Very valid point. The event series was great. Absolutely. Prime says there was other naming opportunities. Absolutely phenomenal. It was a great series. MJ says it was a good series. Great series.
Yes.
Wonderful ability to play at your own pace. But yeah, the naming mechanism lost me just a little bit. But let me hear from you guys in the chat. Where are you guys on the Cons Champion series? I feel like this is even healthier design than Cons Challengers, right, Tarpy? Looking into the chat for you guys to offer some of your feedback, looking in Discord as well. If you guys have any chats or anything like that I can recognize and read out. Also, do keep in mind here in the final moments of the show, because we are getting ready to have to wrap up. We've got about 25, 30 minutes left, but we will open the stage for you guys to issue your final ratings as well. 5 days, 4 events. It ran 3 times as a series. How'd you guys feel about it?
I liked it. I mean, especially the fact that he gave you 5 days, though I was usually finished in 2. And it gave me a chance to do it all. If I wanted to wait a little bit, if I was busy, I could still get to it and not miss out on anything. And I liked it. I liked the events. I liked the rewards.
Did you say you're not a big grinder, and pull that a little closer? You said you're not a big grinder, but you still found the time to be able to get that done. Was that worth it to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I was able to spread it out. I could have spread it out over 5 days. I spread it out over 2. It still worked out.
I am not going to surprise anybody. I procrastinated. I didn't do any of it, and then last night in the pool, I pretty much did all of it. And so, yeah, that was a good solid. That's what I did for literally an hour, almost an hour and a half in the pool last night, was ground out augment hostiles and knocked it. So, yeah, Benny Hill, I procrastinated, but I still got it done. And what I liked about it is the exact same token. All right, yes, I procrastinated, Tarpy, but I also, like many of you, had a busy real-life week. All right. You might have had things going on in your personal life. Might have been work related, might have been family related, might have been vacation related. Here I'm traveling to Tampa. I'm building studios and flying and making real authentic media passes. I had a lot to do this week.
Leaving your hair all over the place?
Yeah, I had a lot to I had a lot to do this week. I wouldn't have had time if this was a 24-hour event. Even a 48-hour event. I wouldn't have had time. You know? So I liked that flexibility that event design provided me. Asking you guys in the chat, and by the way, we are going to open the stage, all right? So very much, if you guys would like to hop up on the stage, Tarpy, if you wouldn't mind to be able to help me monitor that a little bit and bring some folks up on the stage. Yeah. If you guys would like to come up on the stage, raise your hand, and we're going to open it up in the Discord if you guys would like to pop in and provide some comments. In the meantime, Tarpy, while we're waiting on our audience to come up and play. Yeah, Omicron says 5 days also allowed you a little bit of synergy. It did. There were some synergy days in there. Tarpy, while we're waiting on some folks to pop up on the stage, is there anything else broadly that I'm missing? I know we've only talked about 2 or 3 of the event series, but I am still just completely wrapped up and completely enveloped in the overall design of Mr. Tiger. The grindable infinitum. I mean, for some people, like you're almost at 60 million rep. That's going to open a whole new section of this loop for you. I have also been grinding the heck out of Cons Champions trophies. Griffin playing with boxes back there. I've been grinding the heck out of the champion trophies to do some of this stuff. There's loop within loop within loop in here, and I really like that. And that, to me, is going to be a very huge piece of my overall grade here, Tarpy. I can't see how it can't be. We can talk about events. We could talk about engineering. We had some trouble with that. Heck, we could bring up arenas and have another 1 hour conversation about how trashy those are.
Please don't.
Okay?
That's a different thing.
There's a lot of stuff.
That's not ARC related.
It's not ARC related. All right. We can talk about all of those things. But to me, by far and away, you guys mentioned this last month, and I relayed this to Mr. Tiger. Lost In, Cruzito all said this last month, that for the first time maybe ever in the history of the game, the quality and the thought and the intent of the ARC actually outweighed engineering fails. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm in the same camp again this month. Lost In is on the stage. We're going to come to you first. Tarpy, first thoughts when you're looking at the entirety of this 2-month series. Is there anything that we haven't yet discussed that deserves weight in this decision?
For the 2 months? Way to put me on the spot, man. Not that I can think of immediately, but we do have Lost In and Albus, so we have two people that I can think during.
Yeah, no, we got a bunch. We got Albus, we got Lost In, we've got A. Powell, we've got Fisty. So you guys stand by. The call queue is lining up. Thank you guys.
Another one too.
Yeah, yep. The call queue is lining up. Thank you. Quasel is in the call queue. Thank you guys. We're going to get to everybody. Okay. One thing, Griffin, I'm going to point out that that we haven't talked a lot about. Just the event store. We did a whole show and a whole series, Tarpy, you and Daystros, on the event store and what's been added, the new primes, the new officers, then the badges into the Cons Challenger series. Listen, the free-to-play event store offerings have been second to none this month. Not only that,
the amount of currency.
The amount of currency has been
off the chart.
Do you want the updated count?
Very good.
Yes.
Do you want the updated count?
What is the updated count?
540,000.
Wow.
Free to play, guys. I mean, that is insane.
I love everything about that.
All right. I do. That is phenomenal. And I think that deserves a lot of credit as well.
There's a tiny, tiny asterisk there for that one wave event that puts you a little bit lower than that. But, 500,000 event store loot is about where Ops 40 and down ended up as well. So that sounds great to me.
Yeah.
Like I loved how much we got.
Blue Meanie says, I probably got pretty much all of that, and I haven't even tried real hard. Not a lot of solo leaderboard participation, things like that. So, yeah, event store been great. B. Smith says the event store has been absolutely phenomenal. Shiz says, I've pulled an insane number of things. I've maxed Dolomite. I've maxed ship pulls for the Relativity, Vindicator, Protector. Got another tier of McCoy. Woo. That's phenomenal. That's great. Forgotten Sex says, I love most of this arc, especially the 5-day event series. I hate the events that require specific officers and have no option for those who don't have the officers. That is a very fair call out. And what we are experiencing today. Right here with Giorgio's event today, you guys are experiencing that. I agree with that. Let's come to the stage as we get ready to wrap up our last 25 minutes here or so, because we do have a hard out. I've got a flight. We've got to pack the studio up and all that stuff. But we'll come to you guys for final ratings. Lost In, you've got the stage first. Welcome into the show. Appreciate you very much for being here.
Thank you, Lost In, for all you do, by the way.
Yeah, man. Lost In was in Studio G last night and absolutely crushing, killing it last night. Again, thank you so very much for the crazy support. You, my sir, are a legend among men. Thank you so very much for being here.
And definitely a cruise entry front runner for that.
Oh, for sure. Listen, I'm rooting for you, buddy. All right, I'm rooting for you. Even though we do always say it only takes one ticket. All right, it only takes one ticket, but you got a lot of them one tickets, all right?
Well, sometimes it can even take 2 tickets, depending on how many winners you accidentally pull. Anyway,
thanks for that. Appreciate that. Lost In, welcome to the stage. How did Wrath of Khan treat you, buddy? I know you've been a big fan.
I'm a huge fan, man. 10 out of 10 all the way. I think the ability to grind and totally max things out is amazing. And I like the fact that there's really no penalty for not grinding. So it's not like it's forcing you to do it, which kind of makes you want to do it more, which I really like. I think we haven't talked a lot about all the officer shards, but oh my God, I've maxed so many officers.
Oh yeah, that's
I've
huge.
talked about it and the need for badges. Remember?
That's people pulling your chest there, Griffin. I mean, you got to be pulling those Armada chests more.
Yeah,
Nobody wants
buddy.
to, Anyway. I already got it once.
Nobody actually wants to play the game. God.
Except Tarpitude, who has 50 kabillion Armada credits. I had to go throw up in the trash can when
Maybe
I got that screenshot.
I've got more than she does. I got more than she does.
Not plenty of credit.
Yeah, listen, Griffin fixed the badge thing for you guys, all right?
Everything about this has been awesome.
But yeah, the officer cost efficiencies have been phenomenal. I did 1 or 2 tiers of that research the other day for lower decks. I'm getting my Carol Freeman I think one more level of that research is going to max my Carol Freeman, which I'm very, very excited about.
Wow. Can you imagine that?
I know. That's wild. And there's so many officer groups. Gwen DeMarco is going to benefit from that. TNG Picard is going to benefit from that. Rachel Garrett is going to, and by the way, Rachel Garrett, not necessarily for the epic count, but she's an amazing officer to have maxed for her loot game. So, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff there. The original strike teams, which are coming back a little bit more prevalent, a little bit more predominantly here. So, yeah, you're right, Lost In. That is something we haven't probably given enough time and respect to this month, but the officer sourcing. And by the way, anybody who wants to argue on this, I am going to fight you on it. This is a form of officer sourcing. It is accelerating officers. It is decreasing the number of shards that you need to pull through other loops.
Sourcing? It is rapid acceleration.
I've had people say, "Oh, well, that's not the same as sourcing." Bull crap, it's not.
That you can't argue that at all.
It made your existing sourcing more valuable.
Exactly. This is sourcing. Lost In coming to you. Great point on the officer sourcing that I'm going to call out there. It absolutely has been a huge shining point of this arc. Any other comments or any other items that stood out to you as a major proponent of Wrath of Khan?
Yeah, I wanted to say the Khan's champion piece where you have 5 days. You could do it in 1, you could do it in 5. Again, great design where you can like grind it if you want, or you can just sort of do it over time. I think it's amazing. Reliant has been huge. And like I am a couple skill slots short of maxing Khan. It's just been like amazing, like just getting all the stuff, grinding it out is great. Amazing.
Are you a Wrath of Khan fan, the IP?
Oh, dude, love it.
Okay.
I saw it live.
Did you play through and read the storyline missions?
Oh, dude, I clicked through all the storylines. That's a bad question for me.
Oh, in other words, you want a back button.
See?
See? Yeah.
Poor narrative team. They're like Rodney Dangerfield. No respect.
I love the narrative. I always read the missions. Honest to God, I always read the missions. 100%. I love a good story. I love the narrative. It's like, for me, it's like reading a comic strip.
It's like watching another episode of Star Trek that they don't make anymore in that genre. So,
Raj says yuck. I can't believe you don't read the stories. They're so good.
You know what? You guys sit there and you watch. You can quote episodes. You can name episode names. You know what season belongs with what character, what makeup was used on the different hostiles in that episode.
They do.
You're going to come into a game that you play every day about Star Trek. Oh, the narrative. Oh, wow.
Not read the story? Yes,
really?
Check says I can't skip them fast enough.
I don't have time for that.
They're great stories, guys. And you're right. Convoluted says the Arc Mission narrative team deserves a call out.
They're a home run.
They have been 5-star.
And it's because of jerks like you I'm not going to get my back button. Okay? So.
That's good stuff. All right, Lost In, thank you very much. I appreciate, again, all your crazy generosity. Thank you for your support to the show. Appreciate that very much. Tarpy, I believe we've got Albus next. Albus, welcome to the stage. Appreciate you. Up 60 European, server 156.
Yep.
What's going on? How are you, Albus?
Hi,
Welcome
Albus.
into the show.
Hey guys. Right. So I am actually a Team Griffin fan. I believe in you, brother. Okay. So we're gonna go. I'm pushing in for the campaign for the back button and all the badges. The reason why is I'm up 60. I barely have enough badges as it is. I mean, and I can understand where Griffin is because he's like way above me.
I just hope that you'll buy my back button T-shirt when I put it on the merch store. It's going to be a great graphic.
I depending on how much it is, mate, and depending on how much the shipment is to Scotland, I will look at it.
I appreciate you. Thank
Appreciate
you.
you. Appreciate you calling in from Scotland. Sorry, yeah, we've got a little bit of signal delay there. Tell me a little bit about your experience
Also-
with Wrath of Khan. What was the progress that you've made? And was there anything that you liked specifically or did not like about this arc? Then Tarpy will circle around to you. Albus, anything that stood out to you,
Okay.
good or bad?
Mr. Tiger. Just Mr. Tiger doing Mr. Tiger things.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good thing.
Mr. Tiger doing Mr. Tiger things. I think that is a phenomenal way to sum that up.
And the thing is what I'm going to say is I'm mostly free to play. So I'm due to hit 61, up 61 in a year. Wow. However, I'm kind of sitting on the thing where do I go take a long break and go somewhere else and go do something else and come back? Or do I still keep playing and kind of paying for the battle pass and buying everything ever so often?
You know, battle pass is definitely a progression mover. If your server is Ascension locked and you're at 60, I mean, you certainly could start to bank up some of that other stuff. But again, your position is going to...
DJ, what I'll say is that 156 has a good handful of heavy shit, high 60 into 70 players. There's like a good number. It's like you can usually count with 30 in the server alone.
Well, yeah.
Well, then definitely don't stop, or they're going to get further ahead of you. Just keep playing.
Just keep wailing out.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
I don't wail out, mate. I can't. I don't have that kind of money.
You're a big
I don't
grinder.
have Griffin money, but I wish I did.
There you go. Albus, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm glad that you had a good time with Wrath of Khan. Tarpy, swinging back around to you, and I think we've got Kico on the stage as well.
So all I wanted to do is, I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, but I do want to remind anyone who has their Twitch feed playing through speakers to mute their Twitch feed while you're on the stage in Discord.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there will be that feedback.
Get us a sick little feedback. We'll have to clean up in post-prod. Thank you. Kirko, welcome in from European 145, also playing on US 57. Double fisting it there. Kirko, welcome in. Wrath of Khan for you, the entire thing. Parts 1, Part 2. Anything stand up? Anything stand out? Good, bad for you? And what is your final rating on this entire Tiger production?
Well, to me, it's like throwback to the start of playing the game. You're getting the long grinds, you're getting rewards, you're getting your progression. It's the thing that keeps you coming back to play more, I think. So
yeah, I totally agree. A lot of people have talked about that. We mentioned that last month, that there was a large degree of pride in the reputation grind that we saw this month. Pride that players don't often exhibit in this game, but they were actually proud of an accomplishment last month. I see that more and more this month. I see people bragging about their progress.
Oh, 100%. And it's visible on what... You know what?
Yeah.
You don't hear so much, to my surprise, about Khan himself as the fleet commander. You're hearing more about everything else within the loop and within the event store and what we're buying. Khan, I thought he'd be the spotlight, that fleet commander, but we spend very little time actually, talking about him.
I think that's because he is so heavily focused on PvP, and a lot of us just continually get our tails kicked in PvP, so it doesn't probably have as much.
But there were so many other amazing parts of this. I'm saying, so the depth chart is huge on this arc.
Exactly. Yeah, Joaquim, I think, is what most people are. I think if I'm looking, and this would be a great question for the chat. Kirko, I'll ask you, if you're looking at the most value proposition item of the entire arc.
What a good question.
If you're looking at the most value proposition of the entire 2-month arc, what is it for you? I think a lot of players are going to say Joaquim.
I'm going to say officer sourcing in general.
I think all the officers are going to do what they need to do, but your preparation and your planning comes into play for getting those things.
Yeah.
So it's all how you have to navigate through the game to earn what you need to get that, whether it be free to play or pay for little bits to help you. I mean, the double battle pass, that added in things for me to be going to 61.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it was only like 20 quid. To you, it's what, $23 or something like that. It's different. It's $20. You get it for a cheaper price in the exchange rate. But anyway, it's a purchase that was like boosting my progress in a way that was giving it like a steady kind of like put up against what is getting put up against me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We're in a server. I'm in an alliance that is at war with an Axis. You know, so there's like 3 different alliances that want to
Big server
battle.
powers. Yeah. Well, then you're probably getting some
so-
extra benefit out of Khan and things like Joaquim's below deck ability with the isolated defense and so forth and so on. So I think that
Does that make a huge difference at max 500%, or is he still just kind of not?
No. I think that's making a pretty big deal. I think
500%.
Yeah.
What about the 70,000 Apex Barrett max on a
No. Oh, well, that's just stupid.
Is that unbeatable, basically?
I don't think it's unbeatable, but that's insane. Has anybody really practiced with Joaquim on the bridge? I know a lot of people are talking about him under deck, but I mean, yes, 60, 50, 60, 70,000 Apex Barrier, that is absolutely massive.
Isn't that like a 7 to 1?
On a mining node. Yeah.
Because it's 10,000 Apex Barrier cuts your attack in half. The opponent's attack in half.
10,000 cuts it in half.
So times 7-fold.
Yeah, 10,000 will cut it in half, but then it goes diminishing return thereafter.
Okay.
So, but I mean, yeah, it's still pretty significant.
Wow.
Absolutely. Let's head on over back to the stage, Tarpy. We've got MJ Ops 53 from US Server 36. Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here. What's going on, MJ? Welcome in. How did you like Wrath of Khan? What stood out to you as one of your best value propositions over the last 2 months?
Honestly, I'll probably take a little flack for this, but I really like the event structure. I really like how things are laid out. I like the current event that we're running with the officers being specific tiers. I
you'll get a little bit of flack. Just a little bit of flack.
My alliance absolutely hates it. But I'm going to tell you now that the whale that's in my alliance as of today, he was in RAC, and what he said was, "I'm not doing it. I do everything. I'm over it." And I tried to talk him down, but man, I think it's a wonderful structure. I think the points are good. I think it's grinders tasks. I do not think the P1 ATAs are good.
Yeah.
And I've said that all day. I know you've read it, but just in reality, the way that this is set up, I think it's a good structure.
I don't disagree. I like that. I see some people talking about their value proposition, and thank you, MJ, very much. Tarpy, some people in the stage or in the chat talking about their value proposition being in the research and therefore the officers. Some people talking about the research in general for the officer stats to help them with Priority 1 ATAs. So I think that is a good thing. As a matter of fact, Shiz points out officers are indeed forever. You know, so having this better sourcing, this more efficiency is absolutely a huge thing. Lost In points out in the chat, this is coming back. The thing that sticks out the most to me this month is exactly what you were talking about earlier with some of the pride. Rewarding grind again, back to what we originally fell in love with inside Star Trek Fleet Command is actual grindable accomplishments that give us tangible results and give us a feeling of value and reward upon completing these objectives.
I love that.
So, yeah, I think that that is very good. Kaviji says, I'm loving the Reliant. It stands up to the lore. It's effective. Best pack purchase of new content in a while.
Wow.
When he talks about with the Reliant. Shiz saying the statistics stack is what is going to take Priority 1 ATAs, providing the crest to drive the research is the key to unlocking this whole feature. I agree. Kaviji saying Khan's Champions side loop or the Khan's Champions secondary loop. It's just amazing that whole loop within a loop or like the multiple stages, the end life loop of
just
that.
Unilaterally great feedback. These last 2 months are just a breath of fresh air.
It is really, really nice. I kind of like that. Let's come back to the stage. We've got here's your boy Quazel.
Oh, hi, Quazel.
Quazel, what's going on, Quazel? How are you on server 125? Ops 69. Woo. Give us a whale perspective on Wrath of Khan.
It, overall, I liked it. It's as many previously said, it's well done, it's well crafted. You could grind it out, though it's easier for us in G6. I mean, G5 and below, getting all that reputation grinded. I have seen some players struggle a little bit, but yeah, I mean, that's part of the game, maybe.
Well, there's some reward to the progression. I think they're never going to completely abandon that. They're still wanting to push people into the higher generations and trying to get people pushed towards closing that narrative gap a little bit. Because again, it's so hard to program for G3 and G4 and G5 and G6. And I'm here to tell you guys, G7's around the corner. So I can imagine trying to program for 5 generations. It's going to be tough.
You're just filled with breaking news. Is Bubba Joe going to announce G7 at Comic-Con?
maybe so. Yeah. So.
It's sort of like marbles. The flame is catching up with the lower people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. They have done a great job speeding it up. I see it in my alliance players that don't spend much going into G6. We have some players like Gherkin, which did in a few months from 50 because he originally planned to stop at 50. And in a few months, he went now to 64. And he's a low spender.
Wow.
So just like Battle Pass and so planning plays a huge role in that game if you are into it.
Yeah, fair enough.
For the arc itself, I think one huge thing I dislike is the loot change with the uncommons and common stuff because, he did it so beautifully and then they changed it because of bad feedback, if you ask me.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that in the least.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Star Ocean says, I would like to ask for them upping the hostile limit. That was actually brought up this month. As a matter of fact, Doman actually talked about that in the official Q&A, in the official Discord Q&A. It was also, I think, discussed in VIP Discord. They actually announced that they are not going to do that.
It's just infuriating to me, almost as bad as not having a back button on a narrative.
Yeah.
That you impose a limit on something that you can do in this game, which everybody participates in. Every single player participates in this. And it's nowhere visible for you to see. Have you lost your minds?
It's not even the visibility.
No, visibility would be
great.
But
Go
you
ahead,
have a place to read up. If you have a place where you can look at it, I mean, I support you. It needs to be in the game, especially if you have missions in systems where you have your chasers and all that stuff, and then you need to quick to the missions and can't read it because you get shot down. So I'm all with you, but there is at least a possibility to look at.
Yeah. No, listen, I will agree 1,000% that having a counter is necessary, especially when you've got multiple auto grind mechanics in the game. What I find more interesting about this particular topic is actually they're completely shutting the door on discussing upping the hostile cap. As a matter of fact, Doman is quoted as saying this is not a consideration at this time. We will not be raising the hostile cap, and the primary reason for that is to allow players to incorporate their strategy a little more, prioritizing the loops, prioritizing their hostiles, prioritizing their loot gain, and choosing their loops. They claim that this is unintentional inaction, that they will not be raising the hostile cap simply because they want players to choose their grinds.
Speaking for myself, this is my opinion alone and only me. It's a bot killer. But the only reason they wouldn't want to do that is a bot killer.
Does it actually work?
I don't know.
I mean, that's a totally different question.
No.
It is because of bot players. I don't think it fixes anything. It doesn't stop bot players. But that is what they've said. It is their definitive statement. They are not backing down from that. It's been all over dev chat. It's been VIP chat. It's been Discord, official Discord chat. They do not seem to be backing down. They were not going to change the hostile cap. So it does point out that that feedback has been coming in. Don't want to necessarily, Star Ocean, discount the fact that it's not been talked about. It has been. They've just said no. They and it's not even questionable. Not like, well, think about it. It's just definitively no.
And we do hear no rarely. Comparative to the amount of we'll think about it, it's rarely a no.
Yeah, we hear that from time to time.
Well,
but yeah,
you might,
they're
and
not.
that's no surprise to me.
It's not going to happen. Okay. So there you go with that.
Yeah. One last point talking about caps, which I don't like, is the 5K limit on the for the crests or for the planetary charts. Because if you think about it, they did this idea about those super rare Khan mission, and it costs 4K. And then, oops, I don't have 4K, or I don't know how to play around that. Because I mean, if a starter epic costs 2,000, it just makes no sense. It's and then you have. I didn't skill it. Just 1 point because the rest of it is pointless.
Yeah,
it's wasted.
Yeah, I agree. 1,000%. That cap needs to be at least doubled, especially if you're looking at a cons champion at 4,000, an epic at 2,000. Yeah, listen. Not only do we need more charts, okay, and I'm going to continue to maintain this. We need more charts, but yes, that cap is. I feel like that cap is not super well thought out unless they've got some plans for that coming up. All right, we've got to work through. We got to work through the rest of our audience. We've only got about 10 minutes left. Quazel, thank you so very much. Appreciate that. Pal, thank you. Welcome to the stage of Talking Trek. We're going to get through these last 2 or 3 here very quickly. Then we'll issue our final ratings. We've got a hard out 2:15.
Hey, Pal.
Pal, welcome in. What's going on? Wrath of Khan. Talk to me about it.
I did like the arc overall. It was a great arc. I am still disappointed of how they did the sourcing for the ship. I don't think I'll ever stop complaining about that
until 100 days
something
thing
is done about that. Yeah. Until they change that, I'm not going to stop complaining about it. I've been on both sides of the coin. I've bought a ship before, and I've ground out ships before.
May I ask why now? Because 100 Days has been consistently seen.
But he's also saying he's consistently said, listen, I think it needs to be faster than that. I'm not going to disagree. We've talked about, Pal, I'm going to give you my position on this. I feel like it is exactly like the taste mechanic that we've talked about. First taste got to be free. For players to be excited about content, they need to be able to utilize it in its opening month. Bubba talked about this for a very long time. We've all talked about this. 100 days is enough time for the hype to die down. All right?
And 3 more hypes to come up.
Yeah, and 3 more to come up. Look at what we just learned about the relativity this week. Players are using it wrong. Straight up, players are using it wrong because for the last 3 months, they've had to learn how to use it haphazardly. And then they get into habits, and then the ship doesn't get used properly, and they're leaving loot on the table, and it's just bad gameplay. And that's what happens when you got to wait 3-4 months. You've got to engage with content somehow during that 3-4 months.
Well, it was compounded by having so many specialty ships released within a short amount of time, within 100 days. So by the time you get to 100, you're already on your way to another ship anyway. So, Pal, I do agree with that 100%. And then they were all called, back to my original point, they're all called something so similar. Like, how am I supposed to keep track of these names? They're all so effing similar. And they're your IP. They're not even from Star Trek, which I don't have a problem with that. But it's like, call them different things. Right?
Well, I mean, the Reliant, dude.
Reliant. Relativity.
Yeah, but those are lore connected. Those are lore connected. I mean, come on.
No, you come on me. Anyways, Pal, I do agree with you.
All right. Pal, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Great commentary. Agree with that 100%. Let's see. Fisty from Server 20. Fisty, what's going on? Appreciate you. Welcome in to the stage. You get the final word tonight. Then we'll go around the panel. Fisty, welcome into Talking Trek. Wrath of Khan 2. No, don't clip that, Blaze, please.
Oh, hey, Bafty's here. Hi, Bafty.
Yeah, Bafty's in the chat. What's going on, Bafty?
Welcome to my backyard.
That's right. I forgot.
2 seconds, Fisty.
I forgot. You did check your DMs. I'm so proud of you, by the way. She did check her DMs, and then she wrote back that she wasn't going to be able to make it. We tried to get her to.
You invited her to my house without even asking?
Yes.
Well, Bafty is all invited.
Obviously, yeah. Listen, the streamer community is a tight knit community.
Yes,
okay, absolutely. So yeah, the invitation is always there. I did invite Bafty
You're always
to your
invited.
house uninvited.
Would you quit inviting people places? They're very busy people.
What?
Anyway.
No, invitations. Listen, you can expect an invitation to be declined, but it's the thought that counts. The invitation should always be there. The thought of inclusivity and welcoming. Listen, I never ever want somebody to not show up because they didn't think
Feel
they were invited.
That's exactly.
right.
And we love Bafty.
Absolutely.
I mean, I love her
Bafty.
a little bit more than you because I always win her contest and you always come in second. But like the fishing game, for example, where I doubled your score.
You did not double
I
my
doubled your
fishing score.
I have it clipped.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anyway, listen. This has been a lot of fun. This whole thing. So we'll get together another time. Listen, Comic-Con. You going to San Diego? Maybe that. TwitchCon. I don't think I'm going to TwitchCon. TwitchCon is
great.
scary.
Why do you always take a dump on TwitchCon?
I don't know. It's scary. I'm here. I'm looking around all these people who are way better at this job than I am, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I don't want to be.
Okay, self-deprecator. Just go to TwitchCon.
Anyway, yeah, no, I need to get to TwitchCon.
And look at that, you're out of time.
We got a couple of minutes left. Okay, Fisty, welcome in. You're the final caller.
Hey, Iron Fister.
Wrath of Khan.
Hey,
2
what's
months.
going on, guys?
How did it go for you, man?
Well, I think it had a kind of a rough start off the bat, but a lot of the
having
stuff that
event
everybody
problems.
was rapping about,
They're still giving you trouble with your event, right?
Wait, who? What?
Yeah, right now I'm having a problem, but that's something. I'm having a quest problem. It's the Augment Cons champion thing.
He's not getting his
that
tokens.
you get out of the store. Yeah, my token didn't drop, and CS is giving me a hard time. But hey, that's just a one-off. As general as for the whole arc, I've been pretty happy. The everything that everybody was griping about was fixed by the Reliant coming out, just like we tried to tell everybody. Hey, look, this is a trend that they do. Just like the Zindi with like the Monavine, all that stuff. If you have the ship, it's going to fix the things, and they were right. And also I like that DJs, when you said, hey, because you guys griped, they're going to put Uncommon back in the box. Well, now look at what we got. We got millions of the stupid things stacked up.
Yeah, I said that.
That was your feedback.
That was not my feedback. So was there anything in particular that we haven't talked about or that you think deserves conversation, good or bad, Fisty? Like your number one standout? What's been your biggest value win through Wrath of Khan? Is it Joaquim? Is it Fleet Commander Khan? Is it the officer sourcing? What's your number one favorite?
I'm going to say Fleet Commander Khan is number one.
Wow.
And officer sourcing is number two.
Fantastic. Okay.
Excellent.
That's just been, I really like what Fleet Commander Khan has done. And the fact that he has PvE, PvP, and building stuff in his tree makes him a very valuable fleet commander and truly worthy of that number one slot once you get that ability opened up.
There you go.
If you're a PvPer, I'm gonna throw that out. The number one spot, the number one spot, I feel for me, Lorca's gonna stay there
unless
for
you're
me.
blasting people.
Yeah,
Are you blasting people, Fister?
You're blasting people, aren't you?
I'm in IA. Of course I'm blasting people.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
a fair statement.
All right, fair enough. Fisty, thank you very much. Server 20 representing here tonight. Thank you guys so very much. Before we go around the panel, let's ask our esteemed guests, Thumbelina and Barebutt Al, here with us in beautiful Tampa, Florida. They are our dear friends, our personal guides, and the introducer and the purveyor, the expert of all things Star Trek: The Cruise.
We were telling you for years.
Yeah, I know, and we've got that now. So excited about it that we're bringing people with us, and you have a chance to win a free cruise, a free cabin aboard Star Trek: The Cruise by visiting our website at Star Trek or Talking Trek. STFC.com.
Well, mostly Loston has a chance to win it, but you too could win.
You have a chance. We just didn't say how big the chance is, okay? You got big chance, little chance, but there is a chance.
It only takes one to win.
That's right. It only takes one. Barebutt, let's talk about the most value proposition for you. What was the single biggest win or lose from Wrath of Khan for you?
Officers.
Yes.
The officer acquisition,
Yes.
and even some of the officers that came out, like having a second Paris now in McCoy.
Yeah.
He's
and
great.
Things like, and a Savick, though she's paid, she's got very good abilities for both wave and regular isolated Cascade. Any more Cascade I can get is great.
I agree. I like that. Thumbelina, what about you?
The officer sourcing as well. It's phenomenal. And the fact that I can play as I want. The events have been structured that I don't have to sit there and worry about doing them right after work or during my workday. Most of them have been structured that I can do them a little slower if I want to.
I love that.
Absolutely. Let's go around the panel as we get ready to issue our final ratings. Tarpy, who do we have? We got Putz up here. I think Everywhere It Matters was here just a little bit ago. Putz, let's come to you. I know that that you've been very critical of the ATA portion of this. That might be your low point. Do you have a high point of Wrath of Khan?
I think again that this arc and these two arcs are the master class, and they need to have a class taught at Scopely on how to game design. Now, as far as live ops and putting in events and giving us a calendar and sticking to it, they can just take an F and get a 0.
Oh, wow, dude.
I'm glad you're not my professor.
Wowzers.
What the heck?
Yeah, that is harsh, man.
You're like that professor on
F?
Felicity who flunked Ben Covington just because he was late one time. Huh? You lock people. You lock your door. You lock your door, don't you? You're a door locking professor.
Come by for office hours. Nope. Never mind.
No,
Just kidding.
It has to do with this, right? It has to do with this, right? In education, when I do a class, I have to give out a syllabus, and that syllabus tells you exactly what's going to happen every single day. I have to do that. And if I deviate from that, I get in trouble. And if I add to that, I get in trouble. And they are not following those rules, and so I have to fail them for cause.
But don't, okay, devil's argument or devil's advocate here. Okay, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I love a calendar. I've always been an advocate of the calendar. I love that. I have also been known to get a little bit fussy when there's deviations from the calendar. They always come back with the same words.
Subject to change.
Subject to change. Thank you. I was like, wait a second. What are those damn words? I don't remember what the words are.
Subject to change.
But yeah, subject to change. The changes are possible. And they reserve the right to be able to change that. Not only that, but I am here to tell you, knowing firsthand that the weekend week 3 auction, for example, that's not planned on before the arc. They are reactionary in some cases, guys. They'll launch certain things. They'll launch certain packs based on where they are. Listen, they're a breathing organism as far as a business. They've got goals. They've got objectives. When they're on pace, they're going to do fine. If they're short, they're going to launch something to help make up the numbers. I think it's unrealistic for us to expect that they're going to stay static for 30 days at a time. That's not no business. And let me say this very clearly. No business can go 30 days without a subject to change. I mean, unless they're just perfect at predicting the future. If something goes wrong, they got to be able to react.
And we've requested changes at times to calendars that they follow.
Sure.
That's right.
If they were static,
I
it
agree.
wouldn't happen.
I agree, but I hearken it back to my profession. When I have to make a change, right? I have to give dispensation for the fact when I changed it, how many days before the new thing is happening. I have to adjust and accommodate for that change, and they don't, and they're not. And again, I say, I abject fail it.
Okay.
But as another professor who has largely the same constraints on my syllabi.
Yeah.
Generally, my students aren't getting negative points if they don't do something. Like, if they give us extra events, we're getting more stuff. You can choose not to get a lower grade by not doing the stuff. Like, that's if they got a 0 on an assignment, their grade would go down. If you don't do an event, you just don't get the loot from the event. You're not losing out on anything. That you're not lowering the rest of your score.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
them adding events, and Burton said this, or Burton JP, depending on where you see his name, but if they're adding events, I'm happy they're adding events that give me options.
Yeah.
They're not taking anything away.
That is a great argument, and I'll have to consider that. But right now, at this moment, at whatever time it is on this day, my red hair is making me rip out people's eyeballs.
There you go.
So
Got it.
Yeah.
Jules Verne popping up in the chat saying, my Wrath of Khan, Part 2, Arc Grade 9 out of 10. Events were good, narrative great, ship does its job well.
Wow.
But not much else. This month suffered from the majority of the meta arc content coming in month 1, so month 2 might have felt a little lackluster without much new content being released. I have actually found that to be a praiseworthy thing to allow us to continue to develop. our skills from month one.
Sure.
Overall, still enjoying the loop. The second loop, introduced after 60 million rep, is gorgeous. Very happy with the game design on this. That's from Jules Vert, chief mathematician and chief scientist in the Talking Track Laboratory. Tarpy, we're going to come to you for the final word as we get ready to wrap up. Yeah, that's big. You get the final word. And chat gets, let's get your ratings. We will spend the last couple of minutes reading those. Tarpy, final thoughts.
Guys.
Wrath of Khan. What do you got?
So I like the ship. I wish they would have given some additional options for paying uncommon, rare, and epic loot so people could speed up their acquisition. So for higher players get a little faster. I thought the events were well done. They missed synergy a few times, but overall did great on that. I thought the Officer Depot tokens were amazing. I hope they keep that system. People could get 150 rare officer BPs up to 50 epic officer BPs just this month.
Yeah.
So on top of all of the efficiencies that you can get to getting officer sourcing is amazing. And the lowlights for me were just some of the technical stuff where the cons challenges claiming is just a pain in the butt. And if you miss the wrong button at the wrong time, you have a 3-day ticket that you have to worry about. So overall, I thought the 2 months, other than some of their technical foibles, was really solid. Like,
That's
this is
fantastic.
the most solid set of arcs we've had in a long time.
Absolutely. Love it.
I'd
If you're
go
giving it a grade,
7 to 8 to 9.
7 to 8 to 9. What's your rating?
Yeah. 8.
8. There
out
you
of
go.
10.
Let's hit the chat real quick as we get ready to wrap up on our live broadcast from Tampa, Florida. Thank you guys also very, very much. MJ giving it a rating of 8. Quazel 9. Lost in 10. Erwin giving it a 9 out of 10. Wood Cannon 9 out of 10. Max Borg 8 out of 10. King Gaza 8 out of 10. Dragon Keeper a negative 10 out of 10. You're such
trash.
Okay, but for him, you have to take the absolute value. So he gives it a 10.
Dragon Keeper giving it a 10. There you go. Fantastic. Victor, 8.37. J-Babes, a 9. And Forgotten Sec, 9 out of 10. OSU, 10 out of 10. Doug giving it a 9 out of 10. General Lark, though, 3 out of 10.
Wow.
MJ giving it an 8. Iron Fister, an 8. C Engineering, 8.5. RSDJ, an 8. Enterprise, a 9. Just the Tip, an 8.5. Stoffel
Wild
at a
scores.
9. Mosher, an 8. Murphy, a 9. Chala, an 8. Convoluted, 10 out of 10. Burton, 9 out of 10. Jeff Games, 9.5. Rico, 9.6. Matt Hatter giving it a 9. Sniper giving it an 8. Lord of Chaos, a 10 out of 10, even with the bugs. What say you, community? Leave your comments, leave your ratings, and be sure to leave your feedback. Thank you guys also very much for joining us for our first ever live studio broadcast from Tampa, Florida. Talking Trek has been recorded in front of a live studio audience, live on location for the consuming of our content through podcast platforms and YouTube and Twitch everywhere. We thank you guys so very much. Talking Trek is a registered trademark and recorded in front of a live studio audience. I'm pretty sure I already said that.
You're looping.
Dang it.
What a loop.
End loop. Thank you guys so very much. I am UltimatDJz.
I'm Griffin.
And this is
Bear Butt.
Thumbelina.
And we are your friendly neighborhood cat people, live from Tampa, Florida, heading the heck on out here. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Meow.